It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life on this Monday, October 18th, 2021. Hello again, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Beautiful, somewhat frigid Monday in New York City, but it's good to be here on a Monday. I missed last Monday's show. Of course, we were off. Back on Wednesday. I think you all enjoyed that show. I did as well. And we got a brand new show for all of you today with a bunch of interesting guests, a bunch of big names from the world of MMA, and a lot to talk about from this past week, past weekend, looking ahead. So much going on, as always, in the world of MMA. Before we get to all of that, of course, we must tell you that today's program is brought to you by DraftKings. Yes, our good friends over at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code THEMMAHour for a very special offer when you sign up. Again, that's code THEMMAHour only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay, what are we talking about on today's show? And of course, please support them because they support us. All right, today's program. Back into the show at 4 o'clock. We're going to be joined by Jorge Masvidal, Gamebred, the man himself. Of course, we found out last week that he's going up against Leon Edwards. A highly anticipated grudge match going down December 11th in Las Vegas. Of course, we've all been wondering if those two would ever meet. They have been going back and forth for about 2.5 years. We had Leon on the show on Wednesday. This time we get Gamebred, who's been very busy as of late. He was on AEW Rampage on Friday, giving old Chris Jericho the flying knee treatment. But the main purpose of this interview is not so much to talk about that. That might come up. But of course, we have to talk about the making of this fight. Why this fight now? In the past, he didn't seem all that interested in the fight. And so all that and more we shall discuss with Gamebred, Jorge Masvidal. At 3:30, I'm actually going to try to make something right here. Last week on the show, I had the on the nose segment where I answered questions. You know the drill on my Substack, Ariel helwani.substack.com. But I didn't really answer a lot of the questions, and we have over 100 there. I spent the majority of that segment, talking about a couple of folks, and I felt like I shortchanged you. And so usually we do on the nose on Wednesdays. I'm going to kind of give you a little extra on the nose this week because I need to answer some of those questions. I felt really bad. I felt very guilty. I have a horrible guilty conscience, if I'm being honest. And so we'll go back to last Wednesday's questions, see what's there. And then this Wednesday, we'll solicit a whole fresh batch of questions. And so that's my little mea culpa because I went a little long last week and I didn't really get to the questions. And I felt like I gave you guys the old bait and switch. So we'll do that at 3:30. At 3 o'clock, we'll be joined by Junior Dos Santos and Dan Lambert of ATT, American Top Team. Both those guys have been in the news as of late in the world of pro wrestling as well. They were both part of that main event on Friday. That one is going to be a lot about what they've been doing with AEW. Lambert has become, a fixture on All Elite Wrestling. Junior Dos Santos made his pro wrestling debut on Friday. Never thought JDS would be a pro wrestler. And if I'm being honest, it's weird to see one of the nicest guys in the history of MMA act as a heel. And so we'll talk to him and Dan Lambert about all of that. I'm looking forward to it very much. Dan's doing a great job with those promos. At 1:30, we'll talk to Dillon Danis. 2:30, we'll talk to Dillon Danis. He's been in the news a lot. He hasn't done a lot of media. A lot of you people are saying, why do you have Dillon back on? I haven't talked to Dillon in over a year. I don't even remember the last time I talked to Dillon in an actual interview capacity. He was arrested recently. All the stuff with Jake Paul. I mean, there's a lot to talk to. Is he going to fight again? A lot to get to with Dillon Danis. And so we'll have him on at 2:30. At 2 o'clock, we'll talk to Jim Miller, who picked up another win on Saturday. His 30. Listen to these stats from Jim Miller: 38 fights, most in the UFC. 22 wins, second most, tied for second most in UFC history. The most is 24. Donald Cerrone. Most fights in lightweight division history, 34. He has the records. Most wins in lightweight division history, 20. He has the record. An unbelievable career this man has had. We'll talk to him about another big win that he had this past Saturday in Las Vegas against Eric Gonzalez, a finish as well. So it was really a great night for Jim Miller, who recently had COVID. Gokhan Saki is also going to join us at 1:30 to talk about his return to glory. He fights for them on Saturday at their Collision 3 event, former Glory light heavyweight champions. All that and more is still to come. We'll check in with GC in a matter of moments to get his recap of his picks. There were some good moments, some bad moments based on what I saw from afar, but we'll get his official recap in a moment. First, though, a couple thoughts. Oh, and by the way, we were actually supposed to have more guests than we had planned for today's show. There was one other guest that was supposed to be on the show. Corey Anderson, who had a big win on Saturday in Bellator, was supposed to be on the program. Bellator on board, Corey Anderson on board, and then late Sunday, late last night, I get a text from Corey saying that his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, refusing to let him come on the program, which always blows my mind for two reasons. Number one, Corey pays Ali. Bellator pays Corey, Corey pays Ali, and yet he's the one flexing. Also, I have not reached out to a Dominance MMA fighter to come on this program or any program in quite some time. They all reach out to me. Same thing happened with Giga Chikadze before his recent fight. And then I always say to them, go clear it with your manager and come back. Corey reached out to me on Tuesday, said he wanted to come on. Derek Brunson, the same. And I said, if it's all good, happy to have him on. And as you saw on Wednesday, he was on. And now, as you see, he's not on. It's still a great show. I'm confused as to why it was okay last week. Was it because they were promoting a fight and now they have nothing to promote? I don't know. And I don't really care. They're always welcome. I'm not going to get into this. They're all coming after me on Twitter, and then I come back and no one replies. It's tiresome. You're probably more tired of it than I actually know. I'm probably more tired of it than you are because I'm not even telling you half of the nonsense that we have to deal with behind the scenes. I couldn't care less. Stop bothering me. If you want to come on, great. I'd love to have you. If you don't want to come on, great. I got a bunch of other people who I can talk to. But just enough with the nonsense, the bait and switch, the complaining, the behind the scenes. Tired of it. I'll say it again. There's no beef here. I don't even know what we're doing. Life is too short for this pettiness. And I just want no part of it. So congratulations to Corey Anderson on a huge win. Very happy for him. It doesn't change my thoughts on him at all as a person. It's just annoying when you have to start, reshuffling the deck at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. Nevertheless, a great lineup. A couple of things I wanted to touch on before we get into it. Corey Anderson with a huge win on Saturday in Arizona. He defeats Ryan Bader via first-round TKO and punches his ticket to the Bellator finals. And Vadim Nemkov looked really good against Julius Angliskis. In the first few minutes of the fight, it looked like a potential massive upset was unfolding in front of our eyes. And then Nemkov does what he does best, regrouped, and was able to ride out a victory via stoppage, I believe, in the fourth round. And so now we get a great title fight in the finals. We didn't get Romero in the tournament. We only got Rumble Johnson for one fight, but hard to do much better than Corey Anderson, the recent signee who now has 3 finishes in Bellator, going up against one of the best fighters that no one knows about yet, Vadim Nemkov. It would have felt a little flat, I think, if it was Bader Nemkov too. And so Anderson looks great, picks up a big win. And how about that crowd? That crowd in Phoenix was fantastic. To go from the Apex event, which they're starting to feel so sterile, so uniform, and so redundant, to an actual lit crowd, as they say, felt very good. Now, the pay-per-views in the UFC are great. The crowds have been showing up, I feel like, more so than in the past. But the quicker they can get out of the Apex shows, to me, the better, because I feel like the product suffers a little bit on television as a result. It's just very uniform. I'm not against Apex events, if they do 5 a year there or something like that, but every week with the uniform, it gets to be a little redundant. So I thought Bellator had a really good night. Some great fights. Primus Henderson was great. Corrales had a great performance as well. And over on the UFC side of things, we had the big win from Jim Miller, the historic win. We had the big win from the old dog, Andrei Arlovski, House Taste, still doing it at 42. And then what about the main event? The main event obviously was not one to write home about. If you haven't watched it yet, you don't have to go back and watch it, in my opinion. Aspen Ladd dropping a decision to Norma Dumont in her featherweight debut. I think a lot of people, including myself, thought that Aspen moving up to 145, not having to cut weight, looking healthy, would mean that she would have an inspired performance. But I guess, coming back 2 weeks after that scary scene on the scale was a little too soon. She just didn't look like herself. I remember when she came into the UFC, she had the eye of the tiger. She was yelling. She was finishing. She was aggressive. She was, she was like a storm out there. I mean, a Tasmanian devil. Remember one of those fights early on, like she's yelling, rah, 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 like the ground and pound was intense. It was frightening. It was very, very impressive. And she just doesn't have that killer instinct right now. And then, of course, the biggest talking point coming out of that fight wasn't necessarily the fight, wasn't necessarily her performance or Norma's performance. It was the interaction between Jim West, her head coach / boyfriend, by the way. A lot of people may not know that, and Aspen Ladd. And so let me just say this, because it's been a hot topic since Saturday. I really don't have a problem with what happened in between those rounds, in between first and second and third and fourth, fourth and fifth. I actually feel bad for Jim West and Aspen Ladd. And I know I talked about it a little bit on social media, but again, it's always hard on social media. And you're kind of only paying attention to it when it's starting to get really harsh. But here's what we have to understand. The privilege that we are given to listen to the corner in between rounds is unlike anything that we see in sports. You see it in boxing, of course. But let me tell you something. They record the timeouts in the NBA. They record them. It goes through a filtration process before it actually ends up on television, and they edit things. There's a lot that doesn't make it. We go there live, and I'm not knocking the UFC. It's a great privilege. It's fascinating to be able to listen to this stuff in real time. But what we're also doing is we're jumping in there for 30, 40 seconds and, making judgments on a relationship between a coach and a fighter that we don't know much about. We don't know how they talk to each other behind the scenes. We don't know what kind of arrangement they had behind the scenes. And I also kind of feel like it's unfair and it's presumptuous on our part to say, oh, this is harsh. This is not. Like, first of all, this is a very intimate thing. It's a very intimate and personal thing between the fighter and the coach, especially in this case when they're actually dating. And so I don't think Jim West has to apologize to anyone. I don't think he crossed any line. I don't think it was abuse. I don't think it was over the line. Was it intense? Yes. Was it harsh? Yes. But when I went back and looked at it dating back to the first round, and we all remember, how he spoke to her before the Yana Kunitskaya third round and what happened there when she was able to, kick things into gear and then win that fight and come back. BT Sport put together a compilation of every round, like in between every round, the corner chatter, and it was getting progressively more and more intense, aggressive, whatever. But I think he did nothing wrong. The only time I had took exception to it was after the fourth. I thought she actually was starting to show that killer instinct, and he was still really harsh on her. But I think in his mind, he probably thought, and by the way, I reached out to him to come on the show, and he said he was going to think about it. I felt like he deserved an opportunity to defend himself and clear the air. Totally understand if he doesn't want to come on, but I wanted to give him that opportunity. I think that he comes in there and, talks to her a certain way. She has the same kind of performance. Like, nothing about what he said affected her performance for better or worse. And so that was probably his, in his mind, he's like, all right, let me just try something different here. Let me just try to elevate this. And it obviously didn't work. If he talks to her nicely, whispering, all kinds of compliments and platitudes, it's the same type of fight. And so I felt like it was, us trying to make something, a mountain out of a mole, because it was probably not a very entertaining fight. And I know that I was tweeting about it too, but again, it's like there was nothing really going on other than that. I just want to make this very clear. I don't think he crossed the line. I don't think he has to apologize. actually, when I went back and looked at the first and second round, which weren't getting the same type of attention as the later rounds, he was offering technical advice. I said he wasn't, and so I'll apologize if that's the right word for that. He was. Towards the end, I don't think he was, but that's fine. The major point that I'm trying to make is this is a very intimate thing between coach and fighter. And we aren't privy to this type of chatter in other sports. And so to just jump in and all of a sudden start to debate and dissect that relationship feels unfair to the coach and fighter. Now, again, I'm not trying to advocate for them to take it away. I love it. It's great access. But I think we need to keep that in mind when we sit back at home or wherever on social media and we start, debating a 45-second conversation that, there's months and months of training that goes into those moments. It's really not our place to do that. And, it's fun, it's sports, it's not that personal, but I think we need to keep in mind that, in other sports, we don't get to see this. It's probably a lot harsher. It's probably a lot more intense. We just don't have access to it. So I don't think he has to, I don't know about all that apologizing and all that stuff. That was a little too much. Anyway, those are some thoughts on this weekend. Let's go to GC here and get his thoughts on what he did or didn't do this weekend. There he is, my man, George O'Connor, who's still riding high. Braves up 2-0.
Yeah,
killing
we're
it.
Feeling good. I mean, 2 walk-offs this weekend. It's
what a weekend for you. Like life has just dramatically changed. I feel
everything's going George's way.
Yeah.
Everything's up GC right now since I started.
By the way, you're a general sports fan. You understand what I'm saying, right? I mean, like, how did you feel about that conversation between the coach, Jim West, and Aspen Ladd? Did you feel like it was harsh? Do you feel?
I agree with you in the point that we don't know the relationship. We're getting that intimate look into it during the fight. It's like you said with the NBA, everything goes through filtration. You don't hear everything that the coaches are saying to the players. So I'm with you, man. We don't know the relationship, so I can't really speak on it.
Yeah, I just feel like we sit there and like he's yelling, and Laura Sanko, who's a former fighter now turned broadcaster, brought up a great point, which I don't know if it's true or not, at least not for me. She said, would people be reacting this way if it was a coach talking to a male fighter? Are we overreacting? I didn't view it that way. I know about their relationship, and again, it's a little more intimate because they're actually dating, and we could debate whether or not that's good for the fighter or not. I just think, yeah, it was different. It was a little harsh. It was a little intense, but he didn't berate her. He didn't insult her. He didn't disrespect her. He was just trying to kick her into gear. My main thing is, if you're just going to say, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I would just like a little bit of technical game planning, go out and let's do this, let's do that, which he did provide a little early on, not so much towards the back end. But overall, again, it's a private, intimate thing that we are given access to. I think we should all just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. He kept just saying that all Norman was doing was just jab 1-2ing, and that was it, which I think there's more to it than that. I think he's simplifying what Norman was doing. Yeah. And you're right. He didn't really offer that much instructions. But yeah, it's interesting to see the reaction. I had no idea they were dating when I was watching the fight live. Right. That was a pretty wild to it, to say the least.
All right, so how do we do?
We did good, man. It was another winning week. We started off rough. Yeah, the UFC card. I kind of knew what I was getting into with this one. I mean, we know the card, not the best card. A lot of sketchy fights going into this one. We can start with the single plays. It was a rough start here. You see, Carnellosi, she gets the submission, even though she typically gets KOs. Miller gets the submission.
I felt bad for you.
I think I learned a valuable lesson with this one.
Yeah.
Just go by finish or inside the distance. Don't get too cute with it. Don't get to the specifics, because we still would have gotten those at plus money, and we would have been 3-1 instead of 1-3 because we went with the exactas on how they were going to get the finish. Fiore, she doesn't get the finish, but she looks fantastic. So yeah, we start out rough, man. As you can see, we're 0-3. This one started at 4 o'clock, so Bellator is not kicked off yet. So we're 0-3. Parlay's dead. UFC parlay, and then the Bellator UFC parlay, that's dead too. Like we are behind the 8 ball starting this one out, man. It was not the best start. Thoughts start swirling in the head. The people I'm with, I'm looking at them. I'm like,
is the honeymoon over?
I mean, I'm on the verge of an offer. Wow. I'm staring right down the chamber of an offer on the UFC card. Yeah, it was not good. We are climbing a major uphill battle. We need a a Bills Oilers level comeback.
Oh wow!
You know, to use a reference. That
Thank you. 1993, of course.
Yeah, you know, a few people they showed their true colors. You know.
What do you mean?
You know, we had a couple birds chirping in the mention.
Wow, celebrating.
You know, maybe not celebrating, but letting me know how bad that I'm doing.
People that we know that we're friends with, or just like
no.
Okay.
No more friends.
All right.
Just a couple random people, you know.
And by the way, all right, yeah.
They're rooting for the slip up.
Yeah,
they want to see the slip up.
Those
they want to see that losing weekend. No, I love it. I buy into all of it. But the good news was the day was not done yet.
Let's go.
We still had Dumont in play.
Let's go.
Still had Bellator ahead of us. So we kick off Bellator with we cruise to the 4-leg parlay. If we can pull up the parlays here, just
you're crushing it. I mean, Bellator Burks is a real thing. I mean
it's a real thing. It's my alter ego. I don't even know who he is. When we get in the lab, when we start the research, I just black out, and then I just open my eyes, and I got picks in front of me. I don't even know the guy. So yeah, we start out with the plus 109. I expected that one to hit. It hit easy. None of those were really of any concern at all. So we're moving in Bellator. We're kind of riding the ship a little bit by getting the first parlay out of the way. And then now we get the overlap. We get the Carl Albrechtsen and the Dumont overlapping.
Same time.
My real degens will recognize this, the ones who are sweating this out with me. We are in the 5th round of Dumont and the 3rd round of Albrechtsen at the same time. I'm streaming on the iPad. I got the Bellator up on the big TV. Like, I am sweating this out. They both look like they're going to go to a decision. Albrechtsen's getting stunned. I'm worried Ladd's going to take her to the ground, get the ground and pound going. So that was the ultimate sweat. We end up getting both those. And then we end up hitting the parlay. Vadim, really not much of a worry at all. The Nemkov, I mean, he dominated his way.
I mean, there was a quick little moment there.
Okay, yes.
There was a quick little moment where I thought something crazy was about to happen.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I hedged a little bit just to guarantee profit for the day, make sure we profit for the weekend. And someone tweeted at me, they were like, oh, man, I kind of feel silly hedging right now when he was dominating the way he was. But it's like, dude, did you feel silly when Vadim was stunned like
Yes.
That? Like the way that he got hit, I was like, oh, my God, he might go down right now. This might be it for Vadim.
He was on skates. It was a big moment. And then I think he regrouped and obviously was able to neutralize Angliscus on the ground. So did you go undefeated on Bellator?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, we go 7 for 7 on the picks, but we hit 3 parlays. So
so you did better on Bellator than UFC. Look at you.
Much better. So technically UFC was like the first net loss on a individualized event. But because we had the Bellator, we still profited for the weekend.
Yeah, of course. That's how it works.
We profit 3.2 units. We're up 13.7 now.
What's the record for a weekend so far?
5 last weekend.
Last weekend was the record. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's right. You killed it.
That's the mark now.
Yeah.
The mark is 5 units. Anything better than that will set the record.
And we've got UFC this weekend and Bellator, the return of the great Fyodor Emelianenko.
269. A lot of good fights on this. A lot of good fights on this UFC card. We kind of made it out of the dark. We made it through the rough patch.
Sort of. I mean, it has been a really bad stretch.
Yes.
With really thin cards.
But we get a couple, title contenders, and then we crescendo in to 267 and 268 back-to-back weeks. That's gonna be great. It's so another winning weekend. We're 4 for 4 on winning weekends. I also had to give a shout out.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to my guy, Rohan. He hit me up on Twitter. He sent me his ticket. I believe we have it here. Rohan's tweet.
Yeah.
If we can put it up.
What do we got?
We got Rohan's tweet here.
Okay.
This was supposed to be smoother than this. We're breaking the
Yeah, let's go.
He bought himself an air fryer. He sent me his ticket. He got an air fryer.
Legit?
That's the dream. I mean, he sent it to me. He thanked me. He said he got himself an air fryer.
So I have horrible eyesight. I'm looking at this on the monitor. Can we put it back up there for a second? What is that? Can you read it for me? Because
all right, so the blurry thing is his ticket. His ticket was massive, so he could only fit a little bit in. But yeah, it's the first part of his ticket, and then it says bought an air fryer.
How much did he win?
I don't know, enough to buy an air fryer. I mean, that's the dream right there. I got to shout out Rohan.
I mean, respect. Yeah, I mean, I see the comments. People are showing you.
We're not striving for an air fryer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have an air fryer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You do? Okay, I
would have bought one if I had.
Yeah, that's true.
With these winnings we've acquired.
You
have an air fryer?
I do not.
Better question. Yeah, Frank doesn't have one either.
I don't know if I've ever actually had something that was cooked via an air fryer.
Wow.
Is that healthier?
Living.
Is it healthier?
I mean, it's supposed to be technically a little bit healthier. We have a control room divided, though.
Why?
Me and Yoon are on the air fry team, and I guess you and Frank are not.
And what about Alex and Joe?
I don't know. I can live poll them. You guys got air fryers?
No. Joe doesn't have an air fryer.
Nah, Joe's out.
Alex is checked out.
Alex doesn't know what's going on.
Mazel tov to him.
He's got a baby to worry about.
He's got a baby. Yeah, mazel tov. He's a new father. All right. Well, congrats to Ruhan, you said?
Yeah.
Ruhan.
Yeah, Ruhan.
And I just can't wait. I'm not asking for it. I just can't wait for you to dabble in, Dana White Contender Series, LFA. We got KSW this weekend.
PFL coming up.
PFL on a Wednesday, by the way. That's going to fit in beautifully with this program. We can get the picks on Wednesday and see them play out later that night.
We can start working in some Contender Series, some PFL.
Some Ryzen, some KS. I mean, you could go crazy.
Ryzen, we are getting deep, man.
I don't even. Do they even make odds for that?
I was going to say, I got to find a book that offers
DraftKings. Let's go. Hook us up.
Obviously, all the odds, everything.
Yes.
Paid out by our beautiful friends over at DraftKings.
And what there it is. Yes, thank you to them. What a win for Corey Anderson. So now we get Corey Anderson versus Vadim Nemkov. I wonder if those odds aren't out yet, right?
No, we actually don't even have the odds for Bellator this weekend yet.
Come on.
I've started looking, man.
Let's go. Nothing? Not Fedor? Nothing.
Nah, wow. Best Fight Odds doesn't have anything up yet. Shout out to Best Fight.
Yeah, Best Fight Odds is great. They aggregate everything. We've been going to Best Fight Odds since the beginning of us doing this stuff on the program. But yes, that's going to be good. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but Bellator main card on Showtime at 3, UFC main card at 4 on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a real afternoon delight.
I'm all in on that. I love the staggered starts too. You can kind of guess what you had. I mean, as fun as the Dumont Albrechtsen going at the same time, that was fun, but it was hectic. I mean, it took some years.
So you got iPad and TV.
Yeah, I usually have the 2 TVs going, but my second TV it was malfunctioning, so I had to go iPad last minute. It was stressful times, man. Stressful times.
All right, well done. And on Wednesday we'll get the picks for this Saturday.
That sounds good to me, man. We got Gokhan waiting for you.
All right, let's do it. In a matter of moments, thank you very much to GC. Gokhan Saki, the kickboxing legend, will join us. A little back and forth, speaking of Corey Anderson and the light heavyweights, a little back and forth between Jan Blachowicz and Corey Anderson. Scott Coker doing what a promoter should do after the event on Saturday, saying, we've got the best light heavyweights. And this title fight, it's amazing how it all kind of coincides. We got Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira coming up in 2 Saturdays. This title fight that we have between Vadim Nemkov and Corey Anderson is better than the UFC's. That's what a promoter should do. It reminds me of Dana White saying that George St. Pierre is bigger than Wayne Gretzky in Canada. Remember all that? Which was brilliant promotion because everyone in Canada was talking about it and got all up in arms and was all upset about it. In any event, I think it's a worthy debate. All Bellator needs is to get to the point where they can make these claims and be a part of that debate. Sometimes they have title fights like, say, Gegard Mousasi versus John Salter. You're not in the debate. That's not a better title fight than Marvin Vettori and Israel Adesanya or Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker. You're not in the debate. Vadim Nemkov versus Corey Anderson, especially this version of Corey Anderson, is getting you to the debate. AJ McKee versus Patricio Pitbull is getting you into the debate of Ortega Volkanovski. That's all they need at this point. They can make those claims. And by the way, people might have forgotten, back at UFC, I think it was 191, Corey Anderson beat Jan Blachowicz via decision. Now, I know he lost to him in his last UFC fight, but he has a win over Blachowicz. He also has a win over Glover Teixeira. So it's not a crazy claim, and Vadim is a very good fighter as well. Now, the fans may be behind Jan and Glover a little bit more. They know them more. They're more invested. That's all well and good. But as long as they could get to the point where these claims are debatable and not outlandish, which I don't think this one is, now they're starting to gain some momentum. And so they're on a bit of a run here, finally, after a stretch of not so debatable, if you get what I'm saying, title fights. AJ and Pitbull this past Saturday. Not this past Saturday, Vadim and Corey fighting AJ and Pitbull back in July. You really have title fights now where you can claim, hey, ours are as good, if not better, than the UFC's. That's what they've been missing for the last few years. So this is big. Corey's doing big things. And again, let me reiterate, because I see some people talking about it on Twitter. No issues with Corey whatsoever. He can come on anytime. The whole thing is crazy. I'd love to have him on to talk about the win the same way I was happy to have him or anyone else on last week to talk about the big fight coming up. I maintain that the manager / agent works for the client and not vice versa. I have representation. I don't believe in you work for me, I work for you. We're all working together, but no one's telling me what to do or what to say on this program or any program. And so I just don't get it. It blows my mind. And I would argue that I'm not the one suffering in this arrangement, but hey, people are going to try and hurt you any way that they can. I'm very excited for that title fight, though. That's a big one. That's one of the better ones that Bellator has put on. And I'm excited about their return to Russia this Saturday. And I'm excited about the Paulo Borrachinha Costa / Marvin Vettori fight this Saturday as well. Another head-to-head. And again, worth noting, 3 o'clock main card start for Bellator on Showtime on Saturday, 4 o'clock main card start for the UFC on ESPN. The next few UFC events, other than the pay-per-view, are all sort of matinee, early evening start end times. And I think that's very good for the fans, very good for the ones overseas, very good for the ones back home. Maybe the West Coast doesn't like it, but gosh, we don't need 1:30 p.m. or 1:30 a.m., I should say, finishes for fight nights. We just don't need it. No one needs it. It's not smart. It's not smart promotion. You don't want your biggest fight, your main event to crescendo, at 1:30 when the majority of the country is sleeping, let alone overseas. All right. Great stuff from GC. Thank you to DraftKings. Thanks for listening to me for a little bit. Thank you to Frank for that. I appreciate it as well. And now let's talk to some people. First up, I've been really looking forward to talking to this man because earlier in the year, just kind of out of nowhere, we find out Gokhan Saki, who had a nice little start to his UFC career, was no longer a part of the UFC. And then we didn't really hear much. And then we find out not that long ago, like 2 weeks ago, that he has returned to glory and he's fighting former UFC fighter James McSweeney on the card this Saturday in Holland. It was supposed to be Rico Verhoeven versus Alistair Overeem. Unfortunately, that's no longer happening because Alistair Overeem suffered an injury. But we are still getting Rico Verhoeven on the card. He's going up against Jamal Ben Sadiq. And we are also getting in the co-main event one Gokhan Saki, the Rebel, the legend, the former Glory Light Heavyweight Champion, going up against James McSweeney. And so without further ado, let's ask Gokhan some of these questions. He joins us now via the magic of Zoom. There he is, the man himself. Gokhan, how are you?
I'm fine, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Where are you right now? In Holland?
I'm in Holland, yeah.
Okay. And that is the site of the event this Saturday, October 23rd, Glory Collision 3. It's tell me how to pronounce this. Arnhem? Is it Arnhem?
Yeah, it's going to be in Arnhem in the Gelderdome Stadium.
Gelderdome, yes.
It's a soccer stadium from Vitesse Soccer Club.
How many people in that stadium?
20, normally 30,000, but they only allow 20,000 because of the corona rules. So,
all right. Well, this is a big deal.
Almost sold out.
Great. And I know that a lot of people were excited about Rico versus Alistair. They're not getting that, but they're still getting Rico, and they're getting you, which kind of happened at the last minute. So, Gokhan, I want to go back to last February or so when we found out. Why did you leave the UFC? What happened?
What happened with the UFC? See, I started UFC in 2017. And after the first fight, I get too many injuries. I get 2 knee injuries, 1 elbow injury. And I was tired of everything, training, and then short before the fight, getting injured again. And I just think my body was not used to this, and I didn't, before I started with the UFC, I stopped fighting for 2.5 years or 2 years, something like that. And I didn't train that well. And then start with the UFC, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. My body was just not used to this. And then I talked with Mick that I'm not going to make it anymore, like all the time. I was at the point I was scared to go for a wrestling training, that I'm gonna get injured again. So mentally I was finished. And then I talked to Mick, and I told him the situation, and he understand, and the doors was open to go for kickboxing. So they never cut me, and on Twitter they say, on the social media they say they cut me, but that was not the situation. I just leave the UFC, and I wanted to thank Dana White and Mick for the opportunities they gave me, and I wish I could show much more, but it is what it is. I hope I'm gonna make my comeback this Saturday on the right way, and give you guys a couple more good fights, and make a good end of my career.
Do you regret even going there to begin with? Like, do you feel like your body took too much damage, too many injuries, and this slowed you down? In hindsight, in retrospect, do you wish that you didn't do this?
No, it's happened. I can wish things, but this is all experience, and I take it. I learn a lot of good things also with the MMA, also a different way of stand-up fighting, what I'm gonna use for Saturday. So I'm thankful, things happen with a reason, and the past is the past, and we go for the next.
And to make that call to Mick and to tell him, I just don't think my body is able to do this anymore. Was that difficult for you, or was it more of a relief once you finally made the call?
It was very difficult for me, because they give me so many opportunities, and for my feeling, I need to give them something back, but I couldn't, and because of that, it was very difficult for me to call him and to explain him about this, because I know what fighter I am, and I know my own mentality, and for me it's hard to call the promoter or the matchmaker and tell him like this, but like I said, there was no other option for me.
Did he try to convince you to stay, or was he understanding and it was a relatively quick conversation?
He understand. And he understand. Yeah, he said, I understand you because of so many injuries. They still want to give me the fights, but this was it,
Okay. And so this happened in February, right?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a little before that, and they announced it a couple months later.
Okay, so, and now it's mid-October. How come you didn't come back earlier to fighting? Why now?
Because we was in a negotiation with Glory. Okay. And the plan was fighting for the next year. Then Alistair got injured, and Jamal was fighting Adek Bayu, and Plazibat was fighting James McSweeney. So they all moved on. One is fighting Rico, the other one is fighting Adek Bayu, and James McSweeney was over, and they need somebody to finish the card, and they called me, and I was in a good mood, and I was like, fuck it, I'm training already for a couple months. It's going good. My weight is back to the old school, I'm like 105, between 105 and 108, and I feel strong again, and I was like, why not? Sometimes this kind of fights are better than fights you train 3-4 months for,
For sure.
So, and I was like, I need to make my comeback, and this is the moment. So let's do it.
So if Alistair doesn't get hurt and Alistair doesn't withdraw from the card, you're not fighting this Saturday?
No.
Wow.
I was not fighting.
When were you supposed to fight?
I was fighting. I was supposed to fight next year, January, February.
Okay.
That was the plan. We was talking with Glory. But like I said, sometimes things happen with a reason, and this is good for me to make my comeback. Surprise for me, surprise for everybody.
And also, when he got hurt initially, were you even signed to Glory, or did this expedite the signing?
No, I only signed for one fight now.
Oh.
Just for this fight.
Interesting.
And after this fight, hopefully we're going to sit again and make a good contract for the next year.
Wow. This is fascinating. And so do you want to stick around? Is the goal to make a longer-term deal with them?
See, that's the plan, you know. I want to see from fight to fight. I feel good. And I'm not the youngest anymore. I'm still young, 38. Today, I turned 38.
Happy birthday.
But thank you. How you can forget this, my friend?
It's right here. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sorry. When's my birthday?
You have to start with this. Your birthday is 34th of January.
I should have started with it. My apologies. I feel like a bit of an ass here, Gokhan, having you on the show on your birthday. You should have said no to me.
No problem. No problem. So I want to see from fight to fight. You know, I feel good, and let's see how the fight's gonna go this Saturday. And then after that, my goal is, of course, to win the title again and stop on the top. You know, but let's see.
How did you celebrate your birthday today?
Nothing, on the gym with the good pet work of Mike Passinir. That was his birthday present for me. And he sent me back home with a good feeling. So my day is perfect.
No,
my birthday was a good...
no dinner, no cake, no presents, no nothing?
Yeah, I bring some cakes in the morning to the gym. But everybody has to fight, so... I think the cake is still there. So
you brought cakes for your own birthday? That's not how it works.
Maybe Mike finish it. So,
well, I'm sure you'll celebrate. I'm sure you'll celebrate after. You're a legend, Gokhan. You don't need me to tell you this.
Thank you.
Because it's been so long since your last fight. Your last fight was 2018, the UFC fight. So we're approaching 3.5 years. Are you nervous? Are you anxious? How are you feeling?
I am nervous, but healthy nerves, you know, like I'm going to fight for the first time again. And I can bring memories back. And these memories give me the feeling like old school, you know. I didn't fight kickboxing for 5-6 years. Last time I fight in Holland was 9 years ago. And it's so many things going on now at this moment in Holland because I'm fighting that make me excited, man. I can't wait till Saturday.
Are you getting a lot of love? Is it getting a lot of attention, your return this Saturday?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
That's
crazy.
Great.
And I wanted to thank my fans for all the love you give me and the motivation. So it's a good fight, man.
Yeah. I bet. And when you left kickboxing to sign with the UFC, did you think in your mind that you were done with kickboxing, or was the plan to always retire as a kickboxer?
I will never be done with kickboxing in my mind. Kickboxing is my life. I grew up with kickboxing. That's the biggest part in my life. And I didn't fight for a couple of years kickboxing, but I never closed the book of kickboxing. So even with the UFC, if I had a successful career, I would love to finish my career with a good kickboxing fight too for my fans here, and especially here in Holland, where I grew up, you know.
At any point when you were dealing with the injury, so what was it, knee and elbow? 2 knees?
2 knees, left, right, and elbow.
Jeez. All from MMA?
Yeah. The elbow I had already with the kickboxing, but then it come back again and make a little operation. And my knees was from MMA, the meniscus, both of my knees. So, but all good now. Like I told you, I'm good on weight. I did a lot of fitness, strength, and I feel good again, more power. I was training for months without having a fight, and that's good also, no stress, no pressure. And then now the last 2.5 weeks I'm training for the fight, and I'm surprised my condition is not that bad, so that means the training without pressure, never underestimate that,
Yeah.
So I was doing that. I was like, maybe I'm not training hard enough for a fight, but because there is no pressure, you're training more relaxed and more higher tempo without having stress. So
I was
I'm
wondering,
good, man.
were the injuries ever so bad where you thought you maybe would never fight again? Period.
Sorry, again?
Were the injuries that you suffered, the knees and the elbow, at one point a year or two ago, was there a thought in your mind that your career was over, that you wouldn't get back to this point and be able to fight again? Were you worried about that?
Honestly, yes. I was worried about that. And, I couldn't do the thing anymore what I love to do because of my injuries. And I was always thinking, like I said, I want to do a couple more kickboxing fights, and I was scared, of course, because I thought I cannot do it anymore, And then I start work with different physios and getting back in shape again. So I had a very hard time, honestly, for 2 years, mental about my sport. What's gonna happen, what's going on, but I'm thankful that I'm back again, and I don't feel nothing anymore in my body, hurt.
Wow.
So it was a hard time, but we are fighters. We believe in God. We never give up. And in the end, everything is going to be all right, hopefully.
I'm sure every fighter wants to go out on their own terms. Like mentally, were you feeling down? Were you feel like this is not the way it's going to end, right? I'm 36. I got these injuries. Were you starting to feel depressed about the state of your career?
Yeah, 100%. It was, like I told you, like it was a different situation, but thankful I had good people around me. Ali Fardi, my manager, and Selman Berisha, my MMA trainer. Then Mike Hanskron, they helped me a lot. We talk a lot, and I just continue training and do my things and come back like this out of nothing. So,
could I ask you, I was there in Las Vegas, your last UFC fight. Obviously, it didn't go your way against Khalil Roundtree. How long did it take for you to get over that? It was shocking to see you lose like that, especially considering.
Yeah, there was a. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, especially it looked so good in the debut, and then I think a lot of people thought you would, you'd win against Khalil Roundtree, and then to get knocked out, it was shocking to see, especially so quickly. How long did it take for you to get over that?
Honestly, that was a hard time for me, losing the fight, but I just take it, I accept it, and didn't go in the way we expect to go, but also before that fight, I still had a injury, and I just fight because I didn't fight for 1 year, I think, or almost 1 year after the first fight. I get injured, and then the training camp was so long, and the training was hard all the time. And the last 3-4 months I was in Sweden, and I get the injury in my hamstring.
Oh.
I couldn't run anymore, and just mental, I was not there.
Yeah.
And I don't like to talk about this situation because I take the fight as a man. I lose the fight because I also know from the 10 fights I fight him, if I feel good, 9 of them I will win. And there was his lucky day, he win the fight because I was feeling not that well. I was not sharp, you know. In my mind, I was not there. But he did his thing and he win the fight. And it was a tough time after that. I tried to come back fast to show everybody again that who I am, but I couldn't make it, man. All the pain in my body and the injury, it was like, I have to stop this thing, you know?
Wow. What a story. And have you even watched it? Have you allowed yourself to watch it?
I was for 1 year, I was offline with watching fights and...
Really?
Yes, I was. But the last couple months, I'm watching again, and I'm going also hopefully to UFC 30 of October to see Khamzat fighting in Abu Dhabi. So I'm excited for that also. So hopefully I'm gonna be there.
So you didn't watch anything? No kickboxing, no boxing, no MMA, no fights for a year?
I didn't watch. I was run away for that because also then the elbow injury came and I was training very hard that time, and then the elbow injury came last year and I need the surgery, and then I was like, I'm done with it, you know.
Wow.
Sometimes it's good to take distance from something to heal yourself and come back stronger mentally, you know. If you stay in, if you force things, then it will never happen. So in my mind, I thought like, I'm gonna take a little bit distance from everything, and I'm gonna come back when I feel the moment I am gonna come back, you know. And so I take a little off, and I'm back now.
Do you remember the
watching fights? And
do you remember the fight that got you back? The fight or the event that after a year away that you were like, you know what, I want to watch this. Do you remember what it was?
There was a fight of Israel. Honestly, first fight I watched back was fight of Israel Adesanya against Blachowicz.
Oh, wow.
Light heavyweight fight.
So just back in March?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the time I started watching fights again. So that fight I can remember was one of the first I was watching again. They were sending me a lot of fights and I was like, yes, I see it, but I never watched it.
Wow, that is amazing. So, such a legend. And I get it. It was painful for you. By the way, are you surprised how good Israel has become in the world of UFC, in the world of MMA? Like, did you expect him to be this good?
Yes, because he has the perfect stand-up style for MMA. This is the style he was fighting in kickboxing too. And most of the fighters in kickboxing, they don't understand the distance that well. So this is something I learned, the difference with MMA distance, because I'm a small heavyweight and I was used to fight either close, either on big distance, you know? And the MMA distance was very hard for me to get used to it because with kickboxing, you always try to come close. But with MMA, when you come close, it's over. For me, it's they try to take you down, and then either you have a good defense, you get tired also, you know. So, and Israel has this very good. He had this in kickboxing too. So, and then I see 1-2 fights of him, how he does the defense, and I know this guy is gonna make it, and I'm proud of him. He's a very, very good fighter. He become a big star.
Yeah.
So, and it fits him good, you know. He's a superstar. He have this X factor outside the ring, outside the cage, and inside the cage.
Amen.
So
I'll just ask you a couple more things, and then I'll let you go. And I appreciate the time very much, Gokhan. Thank you for being so honest. Who do you think would have won, Alistair or Rico? Who do you think would have won that fight?
I think Rico.
Mm.
I think Rico. Alistair is always dangerous. But I just think Rico will win the fight because Rico is in a good rhythm. He's fighting kickboxing all his career. And he did a lot of 5-round, 3-minute fights the last couple of years. And he's just more in the kickboxing than, Alistair was out for a long time. And then come back. Alistair was fighting smarter, much smarter the last couple of years. But kickboxing is still different tempo, I think Rico will win the fight.
What do you think it will feel like for you on Saturday, Gokhan, when you walk out there in front of your people after 3 years away, after everything you've been through? You didn't watch the sport. You didn't think or know if you'd fight again. Do you think you'll be emotional out there? What do you think it will feel like?
Good question. It's gonna be a good moment, man. I'm gonna be. I'm gonna give the best of me. I'm gonna show the best what I can show, and I feel good. I miss it so much, and with the win, it's gonna be something different, 100%. I believe I'm gonna be emotional also. So it's a big day for me.
I love it. And you're fighting a guy that a lot of MMA fighters know, James McSweeney. Were you surprised that they brought you James McSweeney? He hasn't done kickboxing in a long time, too, several years. He has, I think, 3-4 years as well. Were you surprised?
I think he fight 2019, 2 or 3 kickboxing fights.
Yeah.
In Germany. And, I was surprised. But I know James McSweeney also for 15 years easy. He was fighting for Showtime in Holland, kickboxing fights. So he was that time already one of my opponents. Then he moved to MMA, and now he's back to kickboxing. So it was a surprise, but I think good fight for both of us.
Yes. Well, it's great to see you back, Gokhan. I was really excited when I heard this news. I'm looking forward to the event.
Thank you.
Like I said, thank you for being so open and honest. I'm happy to hear that you're feeling good mentally and physically. Happy birthday, my friend, 38. That's a big year. I'm looking forward to what you do out there. So thank you so much, and good luck to you on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you for your time.
All right. There he is. Gokhan Saki, what a legend. The Rebel. I mean, I know that we're not, typically a place where you get kickboxing talk, but you know him from the UFC. He had those 2 fights, very fun fights, very fun performances. Knocked out Henrique da Silva back in September of 2017 in Saitama. Remember that? First round, 4 minutes and 45 seconds, got the performance of the night bonus. And then at UFC 226, the same night where Daniel Cormier became heavyweight champ at the same time as he was light heavyweight champ, that picture right over there, he was knocked out by Khalil Roundtree, and we didn't see him again. And then very quietly parted ways with the UFC, and that was that. And then I found out that Alistair Overeem was out of the fight against Rico Verhoeven. Remember, we had them both on, and that was a bummer. Glory Collision 3. And then we found out Gokhan Saki was back, just like that. And so I'll be looking forward to that. I'll be watching that. I mean, what a Saturday we have coming up. All happening essentially in the early to late afternoon here in America, with Bellator going on in Russia, the return of Fyodor Emelianenko against Tim Johnson, the legend Fyodor fighting back home in Russia, in Moscow to be exact, Vitaly Minakov against Said Salma. I'm really looking forward to the return of Usman Nurmagomedov, 13-0, has looked very, very good thus far. And, they continue to say that he's just as talented, a different kind of Nurmagomedov, more of a striker, but just as talented as any of the other Dagestani fighters that have come through. Anatoly Tokov on the card as well. So that's happening Saturday afternoon. And then we also have UFC Saturday afternoon with Paulo Costa, Bohashinia against Marvin Vettori, Grant Dawson, Ricky Glenn, Jessica Rose Clark returning against Jocelyn Edwards, Alex Caceres on the card, Dwight Grant on the card. Again, not the deepest, but the main event is an intriguing one, and also Glory going on. Also, the day before all of this, you got LFA. The same night, you got KSW with the return of Mariusz Pudzianowski. That's fun stuff. Also at 2 o'clock Eastern. I'm sure GC is going to be betting on all of this because he's a degenerate gambler. We love that. I say that affectionately, by the way. People think I say that in an insulting... I don't. I say that affectionately. Also, late Saturday, you got Ryzen. So, I mean, the fun never stops. Some people ask me, how do you, find things to talk about each and every week? It never ends. It never ends. All right. In a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by one of the big winners from this past Saturday's UFC card. What a night for Jim Miller. He just keeps on trucking, as they say. Another fight, record-breaking 38th UFC fight. Again, I said it at the very top. Most fights in the UFC, 38. He holds the record. Made his debut October 18th, 2008. His UFC debut, October 18th, 2008. 2008. I was just starting. I mean, today. That's today, by the way, on Gokhan Saki's birthday. Today's October 18th. Just occurred to me. UFC 89. Wow. And then he breaks the record, at least for now. It's fluctuating, but I mean, he's doing his thing. 38. Second most wins in the UFC, 22. Most fights in the lightweight division, 34. Most wins in the lightweight division, 20. Made his MMA debut November 19th, 2005 at an event called Reality Fighting 10 in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Picks up a big win, a KO, a clean KO win over Eric Gonzalez, and he's kind enough to join us right now via the magic of Zoom. There he is, Jim Miller. Jim, how are you? Got a black eye? That was such a short fight.
Got a little bit. Yep, caught a good one. Caught a good one in the first round there. Got a couple more stitches added to the list. So,
how many total? Do you know?
No, I was actually thinking that. I was like, I should have kept count, but I didn't.
By the way, are you a streamer, a gamer? You've got a nice little setup here. What do you got?
Like I had the podcast for a little bit. I've been thinking about bringing it back, but we had just moved like beginning of last year. So I'm still not like fully into my space. Okay. So I'm kind of relegated to a closet. So you can't really see. So the audio in here sucks. So if I wasn't using this, there'd be an absolute ton of echo.
Well, now the audio is great. And I appreciate you giving us the broadcast headset here. This is great stuff. Yeah. Congratulations on the win. By the way, did you realize that your debut was 13 years ago today, October 18, 2008?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you remember from that night, UFC 89?
That was it was trippy because it was the first, I had 12 fights outside the UFC, and they were all local to New Jersey. Mm-hmm. 11 of those being in Atlantic City. One was like Central Jersey somewhere at some, school gymnasium. So that was the first time I ever fought out of New Jersey, and I happened to be going, across the pond to Birmingham, England. So it was different. It was definitely different.
Were you nervous? Like, do you remember? You don't strike me as a big nervous kind of guy, an anxious guy, but were you for that one?
Not really. I had the fortunate benefit of having my brother fighting there, with me, and he fought a month prior to me. So I always got more nervous when Dan fought than I fought. So having him go through his UFC debut a few weeks prior to me, it made things super easy for me. So I knew that I belonged. I knew that I could compete. It was a good night.
By the way, I haven't heard much from Dan these days. What is he up to?
He's doing his own thing. He's got back into the renovation game, and he always enjoyed the quieter life. So kind of getting out of MMA. He just likes it.
Okay, and so he doesn't have the itch to fight again and all that stuff.
No. He had neck surgery. I think it was 2013. And he tried to come back once from that. Of course, rushed it, re-injured it a couple weeks out from the fight. So it took, then he needed a little even more time to kind of heal from it. And he had the grappling match against Munson at some point in there. But it was a longer layoff than he anticipated.
Would you have believed if someone told you at UFC 89 that you'd still be around? It's UFC 267. It's 2021, 38 fights. Did you think it would? Obviously, no one's like, hey, I'm going to break the record for most fights. But were you thinking, hey, I'm going to stick around here for a while? I feel like I've got a chance to have some longevity in this sport. Were you even thinking like that at all? Would you have believed anyone if they told you this?
Not to this level. I knew that I would hang around. I knew that I could compete. But yeah, to really think about 38 fights, 13 years, I had kind of planned on I'm going to try to get it all in and my whole career into the 10 years, once I'm 24 or 34 rather, I'll be ready to get out. And, it didn't work out like that. So, here we are and, still plugging along.
What do you think you would have even been doing if it panned out like that?
Who the hell knows? So I've enjoyed the ride. It's had some ups and downs, but it's an awesome way to make a living, and I've been able to make a life out of it thus far, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
In addition to all that was on Saturday your 50th pro fight, 33-16-1, no contest, which is incredible in its own right, records or not. And is it in fact true you unfortunately had COVID last month and you had to pull out? Is that really the first time you ever had to pull out of a fight?
Yes. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever had to pull out of a fight.
That is wild. So I'm assuming you have fought a lot of fights where maybe you probably shouldn't have. You were banged up, but you just didn't want. Did your ego say, "No, I'm not doing this"?
It's not really the ego. There's this balance, right? As a fighter, you've got to I'm super critical on myself. Nobody, I get some trash here and there in my DMs from people that get beat by my video game character, and they call me all sorts of names, and it's silly. But nothing that anybody could say to me is it's never going to have the same weight as what I, kind of the pressure that I put on myself. So you have to have that pressure, but then you also have to have this balance of this confidence in your ability. I mean, we're stepping into a cage to get into a fight with people that have been planning for the last 8 weeks on punching a hole through our face. So it's always one of those that confidence thing. I've dealt with injuries, I've dealt with illnesses, and sometimes I rolled the dice and I lost, and it was too much, or it just added an extra dynamic to the fight that I wasn't able to overcome. But I had one or two that I was maybe let's see, particularly my fight with Kamal Shalarus. I was banged up for 6 weeks leading up to that fight. My knee was the size of a grapefruit, a big grapefruit. I pulled my psoas muscle, which anybody that's ever used one of those rights or something like that, where you're working on it, it's torture. It's basically torture to kind of get that work done. It's basically your tenderloin muscle. So you have to go in through your abs and behind all your stomach and stuff like that, and intestines to have somebody work on it. And that's what I had to have done. So that's a fight where I was I was very close to pulling out of that one. I ended up not, and having a great performance. And then, like I said, there were some other ones that I wasn't able to have that good of a performance. But I'm confident in my skill set. I'm confident in the fact that if I'm fighting my fight style, I can beat anyone. It's a matter of getting there, right? It's a matter of making them fight my fight and having it high pace and getting into those scrambles and grappling exchanges and transitioning from strikes to grappling. So that's my fight, is trying to get them to play my game.
Some athletes, after having COVID, have said they felt no ill effects, like their lungs, their cardio. Some have complained of feeling different. How about you? Did you feel at all different in the cage? Now it's, a month or so removed from having it.
No, I wouldn't really say I felt any different in the cage. I felt like I started a little bit slow the other night. I wasn't really kind of hitting that zone. And then it weirdly enough, it was one of the weird times where usually when the cut men come in, they start shoving Q-tips in you and pinching your nose, like not letting you breathe. It sucks, it's really hard to recover. And I felt really good with it. And it was odd. And then I felt better stepping out for that bell in the second round than I did in the first round. So then it was, I don't even remember, planning on throwing the punch. It was one of those things that it just kind of happened, because I was just relaxed at that point and ready to go. But yeah, COVID for me mostly felt like allergies. It was mostly in my sinuses. I felt it in my lungs for a few days, but I was in fight shape when I got it. The only reason I got tested was because I was going out to Vegas. So, it would have happened either way. And, I took about 10 days, had a little workouts in here and there just on the bike at home. And after about 10 days, got back into the gym and the first week was, blowing it out of my lungs and getting back into it. But, it was pretty quick that I felt, right back, at fight ready.
So the corner working on you kind of woke you up a little bit, kicked you into high gear?
Honestly, I have no idea. Yeah, like I said, normally it sucks. I hate it. I absolutely hate it when even though I'm one of the short guys, they're always pushing my head down or checking for cuts or wiping blood or sticking Q-tips up your nose. And this one was in my eye basically. And it affects you. It doesn't. You don't get to recover like you normally would recover in training. You're not prepared to have somebody doing that type of stuff to you in between rounds. So it always does feel like it sucks. Like it feels like it takes a little bit out of me. But this is the one time where it was I was able to get some good deep breaths in and kind of just close my eyes and just relax and really felt like it kind of reined me in a little bit and in a good way.
Did you know who Eric Gonzalez was before this fight, before it was offered to you?
No, I did not.
And I know, we all remember the famous Joe Silva email. Of course you're in because you're Jim F. and Miller. You never say no, you're in right away. There's no nonsense negotiations. But is there any part of you that gets a little more up for the fights where the guy, you've been watching the guy, you're I'm not saying that you fight down or fight up, but the fact that you didn't know who Eric was going into the fight, is it harder to be motivated for the fight if you don't know the guy, or does that never affect you?
It's not so much the motivation, right? It's the excitement. The guys who I've seen a lot, and like a guy like Clay, right? Yeah. We were both on that upswing. If there weren't so many rematches at the lightweight title, in 2010, 2011, we probably both would have had the opportunity to fight for the title. And we could have fought way back then, and then finally getting the opportunity to fight him. I'm a fan of his. So it was exciting. It was really exciting to finally get to step into the octagon with him. So I didn't have that excitement with Eric, but still I got, I watched a few of his fights and I was like, I enjoy it. I like the way he fights. He's aggressive. He bites down his mouthpiece, keeps coming forward. He's super tough, hard to put away. So there's definitely always going to be that desire to fight and that, but there is a little bit more excitement for the guys that I've seen for years.
You mentioned back in 2010, 2011, the guys who were fighting for the belt, and when you were on a roll as well. And we've seen crazy things. Who would have thought Jan Blachowicz would be light heavyweight champ? Who would have thought Michael Bisping would have got the way he got it? If the stars never align and you don't get to fight for a UFC title, do you think that will annoy you when you're 80 years old, looking back on your career, you never got to fight for it, and you had more fights than anyone? Do you think that will eat at you?
I mean, a little bit, I mean, it does today, but it's one of those things. This sport's all about timing. Like, you got to get that opportunity when you've got the momentum and you've got everything going for you. And it's not so much just to fight for the title. It's like, I know that I could have won the title. I know that I could have held the title. I mean, at that time, I was 9-1 in the UFC, and there were guys, getting title shots on less. It's just the way that it worked out, and like the way that I always looked at it is just, I'm just going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting whoever they put in front of me, and because I was like, hey, I know that I can do this. I know that I can compete with the absolute best on the planet, and it didn't work out, but like I wasn't going to be one of those guys that sat around and waited and just didn't want to fight unless it was for the title. Because the way I view it is that, like, once you get it, like the excitement of it is like everybody's going to want to fight you. So like you're going to have to fight off all comers, no matter the skill set and the style of fight. You're going to have to fight them all. So I figured, why not get it out of the way before I had the title? And then once I had it, it'd be business as usual.
Which time frame, which era do you think you were at your very best? In other words, when do you think you were at, the closest point to, should have fought for the belt, probably would have won the belt, held on to the belt? What comes to mind?
I mean, 2011, I was doing pretty good, unfortunately, yeah, like I fought a hammer in Benson, and I was also dealing with some other bullshit, that I really didn't know until kind of fight night. So it's just one of those things. Like I've definitely improved since then. I'm a much more dangerous fighter. I'm much more well-rounded. I feel like my skill set is better. But I'm also a 38-year-old who's been living this stuff. So, the body's a little bit more beat up today than it was 10 years ago. So it's not as easy to always be on like I was able to, back in the day.
And just curious, you say that you were dealing with some BS. You're not referring to the Lyme disease, right? Because that was before.
No. Yeah.
What are you referring to, if you don't mind me asking?
I had friggin' mono leading up to that fight, and then I got a kidney infection.
No.
Probably because I was in a weakened state because of the mono from my weight cut. And it's just I didn't know until I was warming up for the fight, and like I'm like, I'm a little sluggish, and then I went to grab a bottle of water, and like, as opposed to just like being a 28-year-old, 27-year-old, just reaching down and grabbing it. Like, I hands on my knees, bent over, picked it up like an old man. And I was like, shit, like I'm protecting something and I don't really know what it is at this point.
Wow.
And then, he like went out, like I said, fought a hammer, put him in quite a few bad spots, but just couldn't finish. I did not have the energy to finish. I had his knee bending the wrong way.
Yep.
I had him in at least one or two good chokes. I had him in a Kimura, and he's just so hard to put away, and I just didn't have the energy to do it, and he beat the hell out of me. Then the flight home sucked because then my kidney started to
be pretty
aggravated, but yeah. Well, we get over it, man.
Yeah, no,
that was a decade ago.
I know. It's crazy to look back on these things. Actually, one of my favorite performances, if not maybe my favorite from you, happened in Montreal, my hometown, against Charles Oliveira. What a great sub that was. And you're 1-1 with him. And I know you talked about it would be fun one day to get that third. Does it, like, speaking of guys, who would have thought, does it blow your mind to see him doing this well, to see him as champ now?
It does, man. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome to see. He had those ups and downs early, and then it's just like, man, he hit that second stride, which is really not easy to do in this game. And to be able to get that head of steam going again, and to have the performances that he's had, it's special. It really is special, and I'm super excited for him. Super, proud to have shared the octagon with him twice, you know, and see where he's at now. And you know, from where he's come to what he's done, it's awesome.
Would that be the dream? Like, if you could pick one opponent, I know you mentioned, you know, maybe Cerrone, this, that, but is that the one, given what he's doing? If you could be that guy to pick one, because you don't seem like the guy, I don't think you've ever picked someone or really truly, you know, called you. But would that be the one to get that third fight against him, considering how good he's doing?
Probably, yeah. You know, like that's, you know, like I went in and he was undefeated when we fought, and you know, I steamrolled him, and then when we fought that second time, I mean, he steamrolled me. So like, it's a completely different sides of the spectrum, you know? So yeah, I'd like to do it again. And like I said, I got a ton of respect for the guy. I'm a fan of his. Yeah, it'd be awesome to share the octagon again with him.
Who do you think wins, Dustin or Charles? You know Dustin as well. Who do you think wins that fight?
Yeah, I'm leaning a little bit more towards Dustin. I just think he's a bit more durable, you know. Charles is dangerous everywhere, but he gets put in tough spots, and I think that if Dustin gets him there, he's gonna just keep it on him, and he's so good at keeping the momentum. Where Dustin is really hard to get into trouble. Like it takes a lot for guys to put him into trouble. So yeah, I'm just leaning a little bit more towards Dustin in this one.
Recently on your Instagram, and you're putting out some great stuff on your Instagram, by the way. You know, you put the videos of the music and stuff. I never thought like you were a TikTok type of guy, but you know, because you're so you know, rugged and a manly man who lives in the woods. But it's good stuff. You posted a very I watched the whole thing, very informative about your battle with Lyme disease. What prompted you to go into that much detail at this point? Because it's been a few years now, where I guess no one is ever fully cured from Lyme disease, correct me if I'm wrong, or overcomes it, but you seem to have gotten over, you know, the major symptoms and figured out how to live a productive and healthy life. Why did you put this out now? What prompted that?
You know, I get asked about it a lot. You know, and it's a tough thing because it's a very personal journey, right? It's a very personal thing. It attacks everybody a little bit differently. You know, I got bitten probably, it was May of 2013. Wasn't diagnosed until March of 2016. So I had it for almost 3 years without it being diagnosed and without any meds to fight it. And I have a difficult time kind of talking about it sometimes because I don't want it to define my career as a martial artist. You know, it's one of those things that I've had to deal with. Nobody else at this level I mean, Jimmy Walker Page has it as a golfer. There's no other combat athlete. There's no other, you know, contact sport athlete that has dealt with it like I did. You know, and going back to, you know, not taking fights, there are probably a few of them that I probably shouldn't have taken in there, but it was also, you know, a rock and a hard place. You know, this is what I do for a job and a living and to provide for my family. And, you know, I wasn't training like I should have been. And like, I couldn't train like I should have been. But you know, I kind of needed to, but I also look at it like that kind of helped me get over it as well, because I was forced to work out. I was forced to try to improve my body and get into better shape. And you know, all that stuff matters. Like, the more oxygen that your blood can carry, the better your body's going to be at fighting off, you know, this bacteria and a lot of other things as well. Right. Given, you know, this year and last year, you know, so being healthy and being forced to, you know, work out and diet well and stuff like that, I think helped me. But like, I get asked all the time, and it's hard to write it, you know, in a DM, because it's like, I'm going to be writing a novel, you know? So, I always kind of like put it off, and I've tried to get back to people, and I'm like, listen, I just need to put out something that I can just push people to if they ask about it. And hopefully that my experience can then help them in some way, shape, or form. You know, it's a shitty thing. It affects, you know, what the heck is it now? It's like 300,000 people a year, something like that, get Lyme disease. And some people are able to catch it early, and some people don't. And when it has the opportunity to really start affecting your body, it's a lot more stubborn to get rid of. It really kind of like digs its nails in there and is a pain in the ass. And that's the experience that I had. But through consistent effort in trying to, eat well and, supplement correctly and take my medicine and work out consistently, I've been able to kind of push it back. And, I really started noticing a difference early 2018. And then like by beginning of 2019, I feel like I kind of pushed it back into remission, and, it might rear its head back up someday. I'm hoping that it doesn't, but if it does, at least I'll be ready and I'll know how to approach it.
Do you have to do anything on a day-to-day basis to fight it off at this point?
Not really. Just if I eat like an asshole, yeah. Like if I eat a bunch of greasy food, or I eat a bunch of, like just processed sugary crap, like I feel it. I feel it. And that might be part age, right. And that might be part Lyme. Like I've definitely, like, back in 2011, I was home brewing beer and stuff like that. And like, once I got diagnosed, I kind of stepped back from, making, because at that age, it's like, I could have, a beer or two with dinner. And right. I'd do that, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And it's like, it's not like I'm getting banged up or anything, but it never affected me the next day. And then I started to feel like, hey, like 1 or 2 drinks it kind of affects me the next day in a training session. So it's been like, working that closer to out of my life than it is in, alcohol. So, yeah, it's just I try to stay healthy. I try to work out and eat well, and make the right choices that everybody knows that they should be making. And sometimes that is difficult. Sometimes you have the cravings, or you're traveling and it's just hard to do. But for a majority of the time, I eat from Whole Foods. I'm spending the time making dinner for, my family and stuff like that. And, from whole ingredients, and I feel much better for it.
The part that really stood out to me was when you were saying there was a stretch there where you wake up and you couldn't move, like 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. You cannot move. Yeah. Like you're borderline paralyzed. You cannot move your body. Mm-hmm. That I can't imagine. Every morning? For how long?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks. It was like, I wasn't, at the time when it was happening, and I always love saying it because it's morning stiffness.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's a symptom of like rheumatoid arthritis. So, of course, like I'm waking up and I'm like, man, like I'm in pain. Like as soon as I wake up, I'm in pain. I kind of have to like sit there and relax for a little bit before I can get out and then go, do what I need to do and go train and stuff like that. And, it was miserable. And, I'm telling my doctor about it when I was doing my pre-fight physical for UFC 196. And I'm telling him that. And, I was having pretty bad neuropathy if I sat in an awkward position. Like if I just sat on the floor, not even an awkward position, just sat my butt on the floor with my kids, my legs would go numb in like 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
Minute and a half, 2 minutes. And, I've got a banged up neck. Like I literally have, probably could have had neck surgery. My back is fucked up. So it's like there are issues that could be causing that, from being a fighter, but then it's like, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was, hey, your neck's screwed. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to be dealing with this for the rest of your life. And it was a symptom of the Lyme disease. For me personally, it heavily attacked my nervous system. And, I had twitching, and I had the numbness and tingling, and kind of just like a general like neural fatigue. Like if you, do a heavy sprint workout, how it just bangs you up, even more than normal, you know, like, that's kind of where I was like almost living like right on the edge of that.
Wow.
So like anytime I lifted or did sprints during that period, like it would just mess me up. So, yeah, it was tough, but, you know, I was able to get through it. And fortunately, you know, they were symptoms of the Lyme. And, like I said, there's a side of me that should have just been in bed resting and dealing with the disease, and there was also the side of me that was fighting and competing and trying to provide for my family. So I had to weigh those options, and you know, I sucked it up and continued to fight.
Well, I and everyone else very happy, and I'm sure you as well and your family happy that didn't define you. It makes the story that much crazier that you're still here, that you were able to overcome this, and you're right. I mean, I've heard of entertainers. I know Avril Lavigne has it and stuff, but like I don't know of many athletes, and certainly not fighters. I don't know of any that have been through this. And the fact that you're still here all these years later and winning and beating the young guys up, it's amazing. And here I am, Jim, as we sign off. Like I'm not asking you about retirement. You see, I know you don't want to be asked about it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Nothing. And I can't wait to see you at UFC 300. I'm sure they're going to call you in a couple of weeks for your next fight. It's an amazing story, and all these years later, it's amazing to see you still thriving. And you know, as a fellow old guy, I mean, how old are you now, Jim? 38? What are you now?
Yep, 38.
38. I'm older than you. I don't know, for some reason, you know, I have a kinship to, you know, the older guys who were around back in the day. So keep on doing your thing. Congratulations on the win, and congrats on all the success. Can't wait for the next one.
Thank you very much, Ariel.
All right. Talk to you soon. There he is, Jim Miller, with a big win, a record-breaking win on Saturday, a record-breaking fight on Saturday. His 38th in the UFC. Again, most fights, second most wins, most fights in lightweight division, most wins in lightweight division. 13 years ago today, this man made his UFC debut at UFC 89 in Birmingham, England. Spoke to Rocky Edwards about that last week, and he fought at UFC 100. He fought at UFC 200, and the only other man to do that, of course, won Brock Lesnar. And I feel confident in saying Brock is not going to fight at UFC 300, although crazier things have happened. And he says he wants to fight at UFC 300. How crazy would that be? That would be nuts. So, Jim Miller, doing it for the old guys. Respect. All right. In a matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by someone who I think a lot of you claim you don't want to hear from this man, but I know you do want to hear from him. I know that you do want to hear from him. Dillon Danis is one of the more polarizing figures in the world of mixed martial arts, one of the most polarizing figures in the world of fighting. We haven't seen him since June of 2019 in terms of actual action, but he is very active on social media. He's been in the news as of late, and it's been a while since we had a proper interview. And so without further ado, let us go back to the Zoom machine and say hello to the bad boy himself, Mr. Dillon Danis. Dillon, how are you, sir?
I lost my voice a little bit, but you can hear me good.
Yeah,
it's been a while, no?
Yeah. What happened to the voice?
I missed you, bro. We need to do more of these.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, you're a hard guy to nail down. I mean, it's very easy to find.
I want to come into the studio. We're not too far away.
I know. What happened to the voice, though?
I don't know. I don't know. It's been a little bit raspy.
A lot of shit talking.
Not COVID, though. No COVID. No COVID.
Yeah. You had it, right? You had it like last year, right?
Yeah, I had it before. I think I got it twice.
Oh, my God.
It was pretty tough, but I mean, I'm pretty healthy, so it wasn't too bad. But, you know, my uncle is actually very bad with it right now, but, you know, it's scary times.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. I wish him the best. It is very scary. We heard about Colin Powell earlier this morning as well. So, Dillon.
I heard you were just with Jim Miller, too. You know, I have Lyme disease. I never called it before. But I had Lyme disease since I was 13. It's fucking terrible.
You have Lyme disease? No way.
Since I was 13. Yeah.
Really?
Terrible. Wake up, I'm always inflamed and everything. Yeah.
How did you get it?
I was playing. I mean, I was younger, so we used to go, like, when we were kids, you used to just go in the woods and stuff. And I just had a tick one day, and I had a huge, like, red circle, you know?
Damn.
So I went to the doctor, and I had Lyme disease, yeah. Oh. In school, it used to lock me up sometimes. One time I got locked up for my back, and, like, I was so inflamed, like, I couldn't even move.
Wow. And how is it now?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think I do the right things for it, but I'm trying to get better now. You get older, you know. Like it's like you have to be like certain foods inflame you more, stuff like that. But I actually like I'm trying to get better with it. You know, I'm trying to like understand my body more. Because you know, when you're younger, you don't care. Like, I fuck it. Like, you just do what you do, eat what you want. But yeah, it's a really, really bad disease. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. I mean, this is a bit of a babyface turn that you're giving us right here, Dillon. I mean, you're coming out with the Lyme disease. I wanted to ask you, all right. What happened?
The Lyme disease ain't gonna take me out. Don't worry about that.
What happened, Dillon? Where did we go wrong here? You win that fight at MSG, and a lot of crap has happened in the last 2.5 years.
So I don't think I ever talked about what happened, to be honest. So I was a week before my fight. It was actually a training session with Connor, main number training. I was a week before my fight. He was fighting, and I was going to fight the week after. And he was actually going to come to my fight in LA at the Forum. And yeah, I mean, I think I've been training a long time, man, 13 years. So, it wasn't even like anything that happened crazy, which is in the middle of a training session, my knee like just went all the way out, blew out. So I had a week before the fight, the knee blew out. And I'm still training. I'm like, hey, listen, like, I'm crazy. I can fight with this. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I kept the weight down and everything. And then I went to one of the doctors, and he was like, yo, listen, like, if this is Floyd Mayweather and he's going to make $1 billion tomorrow, he goes, you're going to ruin your, like, the rest of your life if you fight. And then at that point, I was like, it was me and Kavanaugh in the room, and the guy talked to us, and I was like, all right. And I was like, there's no way. He's like, dude, you're going to ruin your knee the rest of your life if you fight like this. He's like, it's not worth it. It's not more worth it for 5 million, 10 million. He's like, it's not worth it. So I had to wait. I got the surgery. The surgery ended up failing, which is 1 in a million, which is crazy. Like, so the surgery failed. The ligaments didn't take. So then I'm in quarantine. The surgery failed. So I just had another surgery. Like 11 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, I had another surgery. We used a different kind of cadaver and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'm at now. So 2 knee surgeries in a year, reconstructive too. And when you do the second surgery, it's a little bit different than the first one. So basically, when you get surgery, it's like getting a car accident. So we have to be it's like 2 big trauma to my body. So it's like I have to take this one a lot. Like, I'm not allowed to trim my foot right now. It's been 11 weeks.
Wow. And are you worried that you'll never fight again?
No. I always fight. I mean, even though I have to freaking cut this thing off, I still fight.
I know, but it's been like 2.5 years now, and
yeah, no, trust me. And the thing that's fucked up is like people saying, "Oh, he doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to do this." I'm like, come on, like, I love to fight.
You know why they say that, though?
Like, you think I want to be like this?
You talk so much shit. That's why you bring it upon yourself.
I know. Trust me.
Why do you talk so much shit? Why do you do this? Why do you bring this upon yourself?
When I come back, I'm fighting. Like, my comeback fight is either gonna be Jake Shields or Diego Sanchez. That's what I want to fight when I come back.
Shields or Diego Sanchez? I thought you were gonna say Jake
Paul. They both
Paul.
call me. Yeah, Diego. I can show you. I can send you the messages that Diego sends me. That motherfucker's crazy. So if he wants to get it, I told him too. I was like, bro, I'm gonna hurt you so bad. And he's like, bro, like, I know he's like crazy. I'm like, all right, bro, you don't understand what I'm gonna do to you, like. And he's like, oh no, I want to fight you. I want to do this and that. I was like, all right, Jake Shields can get it too. John Wayne Parker. I mean, man, I don't care who it is. When I come back, I'm gonna fight one of them. Even Michael Venom Page, I'll fight him. But he's so bad.
Okay. Wait a second. Explain to me this. Why so much trolling? Why do you bring this upon yourself? Why?
I don't troll. I just tell the truth, and they all get mad about it.
You say crazy things.
I ran into Alan Quinton in the street. I saw you on the show. I ran into Alan Quinton in the street. I have the cameras and videos too. What happened? This motherfucker ran away. So
you saw
yesterday. Oh no, wait. So on Saturday, I went to these MMA events, and do you know that kid that his dad fights in Bellator, the Jewish kid?
Yeah,
he always calls me out.
Aviv Ghazali and Chaim Ghazali.
Yeah. I seen him, right? And I was like, oh, what's up? We talk all that shit on this and that. And he was like, hey, he didn't even know what to say to me. He was so scared. I even know him too. The funny thing is like, he came over and he's like hard-nosing me and this. I'm like, what's up? Like, what are you trying to do? He just walked away because he was by himself and I was by myself. And I'm like, exactly. Like, these guys they're not the same in person.
But always, like, even Richard Jefferson is getting mad at you and stuff like that. Why are you?
I mean, you can get it too because anybody can get it.
But why do you feel the need to always do this? Why?
Richard Jefferson, it was a bench warmer. He used to give everybody water on the team. He's acting like he knows what he's talking about athletes. He's not a real athlete. That's why I got mad about that.
Okay, but you're not answering the question. Why do you feel the need to do this so much?
I'm just gonna let everybody know the truth. That's it. I don't. It's not talking shit. I think
you talk about Francis.
Oh, come on. I know, but the thing is, like, I wouldn't mind doing it. Okay. Put me and John Jones. John Jones, I'll give like 3-4 million to John Jones. If he could beat me in an MMA fight or a grappling match, I'll go back to jail. You can go, but you can come with me. Whoever loses goes to jail.
All right. So then this is the perfect.
That's a pretty good deal, no?
I mean, it's a crazy deal. What happened? Seaside Heights. Everyone's talking about this. The bouncer is doing a bunch of media, including Ally going to the show.
So actually, he's under investigation. He might go to jail.
Why?
So it is what it is. And the crazy thing about that guy is like that guy wasn't even involved in any of this. It's the crazy thing about this. And then you got like Tom the Blasshole talking shit, fucking Gordon. But
so tell us the story. Tell us from your vantage point, because we haven't heard
that guy had nothing to do with it. Nothing. Not even that guy wasn't even involved. That's the crazy thing about this whole thing.
Okay, so tell us what happened.
So basically, what happened is one of my best friends when I was 13 was getting married down the shore. So you know how wedding. I don't know if you don't drink, but you go to weddings, you're drinking all day. You're having like a flash. We're all drinking. Great time. I was the best man. I did my speech. One of my best friends. And to be honest, I didn't know we were leaving the place. I thought weddings go all night, but it ended at 10 o'clock. So we're like, okay, let's go to the city. So we're going to go to Manhattan. But he was like, oh, a couple of my family members are at this bar down the corner. He's like, can we just stop there before we go out? I was like, all right, it's fine, whatever. So yeah, I just want to say hi to I think it was like one of his uncles was there, before he, at the wedding. This place was like the fucking shittiest place you've ever seen in your fucking life. Like there was only 3 people inside. It was like, and I was like, all right, whatever. So we go, and this is the first time for the wedding I was allowed to I was on crutches until then. There's pictures of me. I was on crutches every day. But for the wedding, because I wanted to take pictures and he said, okay, you're only allowed to stand, but not walking without the crutches. So we pulled up. He's like, okay, I'm going to go drop off my fiance. I'm going to drop you guys off, whatever. So he went to go drop off his fiance. He leaves us there. We're at the thing. We're on the boardwalk, and I'm coming up, and the guy's like, hey, this happens in Jersey a lot with me. Like, I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. He starts kind of like being confrontational. I was like, all right, whatever, And he's like, oh, do you have your ideas? Like, bro, listen, like, I've been taking pictures all night. Like when you wear a fitted suit, if you have your wallet in your pocket, it doesn't look good. Like, for pictures, like, you have like a big square thing in your pocket. So I was like, bro, like, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm here. My best friend's getting married. We're coming in for one drink. And the funny thing is, he's saying I Googled myself. I was just like, yo, this is my age. I showed him my passport. I showed him a vaccination card. I was like, bro, listen, I just don't have my wallet on me because we were taking pictures all day. I'm at a wedding. I was in a suit. There's no pockets or anything. And he's like, oh, fuck, like, you think you can do whatever you want? Like, you think I know you are? Like, this. I'm like, bro, like, come on, there's no point for this. Like, I'm having one drink with my friend and his family, and we're leaving. And he keeps going. And then a bunch of them keep going. And now it's like becoming a thing. So I'm not allowed to move. So I'm standing on the boardwalk. I would have left, But like when you're in those places, you can call Uber. If you can call Uber, it takes at least an hour to come. So I'm standing there. I'm not allowed to walk because I'm on the crutch. I don't have the crutches. So I'm standing, and now these guys are like getting confrontational. I'm like, oh fuck. So now they start talking shit to like my friends and everybody. And I wasn't with any fighters. I was with my brother and like a couple guys that are just like normal guys at the wedding, And then like if you go to these guys, like if you look at the review, it says that they grope women and they're like they talk shit. He was saying some derogatory terms. I'm not gonna bring up. And they start going at everybody. And I'm like, bro, like, all right, come on. So then they bring a bunch of the bartenders from inside, and it's like 9 people. I swear to God, and they surround me, right? So 9 guys around me, and I'm freaking on a leg brace. I just had surgery. I'm not allowed to trim my foot. So like I can't box. I'm not allowed to trim my foot at all. And I've been in these situations with the fights, whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then they all start circling me. And usually in the city, I have security, whatever. I always have like whatever, someone with me. But here I'm at a wedding, I'm like having a good time. I'm like, bro, like this is not the time to fight. I was like, oh, my best friend has got married. I'm in a good mood. I'm trying to get girls, whatever. I'm chilling. Like I was like, bro, there's no point for this. And these guys are like, bro, they were like so egotistical. They're just like trying to fight me, like, yo, you all that shit. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So then they circle me, like I think it was like 9 of them. And I'm like, yo, just no one touch me. And I was like, we don't have a problem. I was like, I'm not allowed to move. I'm not on crutches. And then the guy, like, there was one, this is not the guy that's on the video. It's the guy that's talking shit is not involved in any of this, which is the crazy thing about this. And I can't go into too many details because it's still under investigation. Like he's under a criminal investigation and, there's no court yet. We didn't go to court yet. And so this one guy keeps tapping me in my head. He's like, yo, what happens if I do touch you? I was like, oh, this fucking guy, bro. I was like, hey, come on. I was like, yo, bro, stop. I'm trying to have fun. Please don't do that. And he goes, okay, I'm going to do it again. He starts tapping me on the forehead. And then he's like, what happens if I do touch you? What are you going to do about it? And I was like, all right, it's on. So then, a fight ensued. And then, so like, I can't move. So I can't like really like, I'm on crutches and whatever. And there was a bunch of cops there too. And like undercover cops, my friend got arrested by undercover cop. And 2 of them are holding my arms and I'm trying to hit the guy. And then they're all trying to tackle me. And like, so two guys are trying to take me down like a double leg. And I have like a brace on. They can't take me down. 2 guys are holding my arms. And then that dude just jumped on my back and they were like, yo, you're under arrest. Like, stop fighting. I was like, okay, I'm good. I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I'm not going to fight a cop. I'm not stupid. He's like, yo, you're under arrest. You're under arrest. I was like, all right, okay, cool, whatever. I was like, I already got what I had to do in. I'm good. We're all good. So he's like yelling in my ear. He's like, yo, like, if you keep persisting, don't move your hands and watch what happens. I'm like, all right, first off, I'm not like stupid. I'm not going to fucking move I'm not going to like argue the cop. Anybody that knows jiu-jitsu or anything, that would have been perfect for me. I was like, why did, like, you could see my arms are in the air. I was like, okay, I'm good. He's like, what's from my, like, you're under arrest. And like, and the crazy part is like, that guy, like, it's a 300-400-pound dude, and I'm fucking one leg, and he jumps on my back like that. I don't know from behind, so I thought it was a police officer. So I was like, oh, my arms are in there. I was like, why is he not arresting me? What the hell's going on? You know? And yeah, and then after that, we went to jail, and, you know, they let us go right away because the cops were fans and stuff like that. All the cops are on my side, to be honest. I thought that was a cop. It's the craziest thing. If you look at my arms in the air, he's telling me, yo, you're under arrest. He's like, don't watch what happens when you move your hands. I was like, all right, fuck that. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, I'm not trying to fight the cops. I had no problem with them, you know?
How long were you in jail
you know,
for?
it's funny, like, everybody's they put me in for like 20 minutes, and the cop drove us to another party.
Come on.
Swear to God.
You were there for...
But you know what the crazy thing is like, if you watch the video, come on, I've done jiu-jitsu. I mean, you know this too. Why do I have my arms in the air? Like, the guy's telling me he's a police officer. I was like, okay, bro, like, I'm good. I'm done. I was like, I'm not trying to fight you. I was trying to fight these guys. The craziest part about that guy is that he wasn't even involved in anything. These guys were trying to take me down. They're going to get me down. And this freaking 400-pound freaking fat slub jumps on my back when I'm on one leg. And I'm like, all right, I thought it was a cop. I was like, all right, whatever, you know, chill. And now he's walking around like he's like this big hard man and shit like that. But, you know, he's in trouble for impersonating an officer. There's like a whole thing. He's going to court. So we all get taken care of. It's different. It was not like I was him and the guy was him and like that was touching me. That guy was him involved. It was different. That guy like fucking took me down and like got me. And I think, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I should probably like not fight anymore. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, people are going to talk shit. I know who I am, you know. I know what happened. So it's not a big deal.
Was that your first time arrested?
No, I got in trouble in Vegas once too, but that was it. And you know what's funny? I've been through a situation like this. So in Vegas, something happened like that. It was actually like one of the same situations, and the cop tried to arrest me, and I don't know who's knocking on my door right now. But yeah, the cop tried to arrest me, and I like threw him, and he like said like he hurt his neck and stuff like that. And I got like anger management or something like that. But like, so I know when it comes to cops, like, you know, it's not worth it, you know?
Yeah. What's happening
here? On my door, so
the guy?
Yeah, so like I'm first off, I mean, I respect police too. So the guy's like, yo, don't move your arms, you know?
Maybe.
So I was like, all right, I'm not moving.
Who's that?
I was a pizza guy. I mean, nobody got pizza. But yeah, so like I'm not stupid. I don't have any problem with the cops. The cops aren't doing anything. But these guys are like, if you look at the reviews and stuff, they say like when the girls come in and they check like their bodies and stuff, they grope them. And like they do, like these guys were such like, and it's funny, everybody tries to celebrate this guy. He's just a big bully, bro. He's like trying to pick on like people at home and fight. He was trying to fight one of my friends. He's like a normal guy, just being nice. They all have like these like big egos, you know?
Let me ask you this. Do you think this happens if you don't talk so much shit online? Do you think that people are now trying to target you?
I know, and I dealt with these situations. You know what the funny thing is? Like I deal with these situations all the time. Like I go out and I have security, whatever, or like people try to find me. It happened down the shore the other day.
Okay, why do you have security?
And it's fine, you know, but
why do you have security?
I mean, sometimes it just gets too crazy. Like the guys are screaming, you know, and I'm a human too. Like you can call me a little bitch in my face, I'm gonna hit you. So like it just gets so crazy. So I'd rather just not be involved in it. Or sometimes I go out without it. I don't care. I just, you know, I was in like a happy mindset. My best friend has got married, his family's inside. And I'm like, bro, like, there's no point to fight tonight. Like I know who I am, I'm good. And they just kept going. They kept going. They're like they want to stop. And I was like, all right, so like I'm gonna have to take care of this. And I'm like one man on one leg, no crutches. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? These guys are trying to like fucking two of them holding my arm and trying to take me down. And this freaking guy jumps on my back. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And the fucked up part about this whole thing is anybody that does jiu-jitsu or you know fighting, why would I have my arms up? Like the guy has his legs crossed. I gotta snap his ankles in half. And like I didn't fight back. I thought it was a police officer. So I was like, oh, I'm good. I thought they were trying to arrest that guy. I was like, all right, what the hell's going on?
So where does it stand right now? Because you were arrested for disorderly conduct.
But he's in trouble.
But what about you?
Yeah.
Do you have?
I'm alright. I need to be honest. The cops are all on my side. Like I don't think
you have to go to court. Wasn't the court date today or tomorrow?
Yeah, we postponed it though.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of stuff that's going into it now.
Okay.
And you know the thing is, I don't really mind like a fight, whatever, this and that. But like this guy trying to come out and saying like he fought, it was the guy I wasn't even talking to. The guy wasn't even involved in anything in this whole thing. And he was like trying to like bring guys 400 pounds on my one leg, jumps on my back like. And then he's saying he's an officer. So, like, it's, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I really don't give a shit about it, to be honest.
What was it like afterwards seeing so many people in the MMA community celebrate this? Posting
John Jones is celebrating, and look what happened to him. It's fucked up. This motherfucker's a woman beater. Like, I never put a hand on a woman my whole life. Like, he's hitting his wife, his kid called the cops on him. And, like, I'm protecting my friends from fucking stupid Jersey Shore bouncers fucking trying to pick on them. And I'm the one that's getting, John Jones is coming after me. So, I mean, look at Chocodile, same thing just happened to him. Like, these guys we're not in the same, like, I have morals, respect. And, I was just at a wedding trying to have fun. Like, I don't even want to go to this place, or just like going to see his family and stuff like that, which is fucked up. Like, I wasn't in a mood to fight. I was like, bro, like, I know this kid since he was 13. He just got married. I'm the best man. We're having a good time. Like, what's the point in this,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
it is.
Okay,
it is kind of fucked up. The only person that had my back to the MMA community was Mike Perry, and me and him don't even know each other. He posted on the story saying, like, "What do you want him to fight a cop?" I was like, "Exactly."
Right. Well, that is surprising. Platinum Mike.
Very surprising.
Some compassion.
Mike Perry.
I like it.
I know. I was there.
Okay, so that's a whole drama, and I guess it's going to unfold. Is there a new court date? Oh,
sorry. I'm good. Just had a little battery.
Is there a new court date?
Yeah. There's a lot that's going. That's what I'm saying. I can't talk too much about like little details and shit. But like, it is what it is. Yeah, it's not a big shit deal. I really don't give a shit about it.
All right. So what about?
But I want.
Wait, I want to ask you about the one that I think everyone wants to know about for the most part. What happened with Jake Paul? Why didn't you fight Jake Paul in August? Why didn't that fight come to fruition?
So I had the knee surgery. When I had the new knees. No, I know it's funny. Jake Paul is a little bitch. This motherfucker is the same thing with Tommy Fury. He like DMs you and is like, "Oh, I'll give you $1 million, bro." I was like, "Okay, talk to my manager." Like, that's not how the deals work. That'd be like if I text you, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do this interview today. I'm gonna give you $5 million." Yeah, okay. Like in a DM, that's the way he does it. And I actually don't know Tommy Fury. I don't really know anything about him, but I see him saying the same thing. Like, Jake just DMs you and is like, "Hey, bro, you want to fight for $1 million?" And I'm like, "Okay," but talk to the managers. Then when it comes to the managers, they're like, "No, he's just lying. He doesn't have that kind of money, this and that." So it's just bullshit. But the funny thing is, I told him, "Listen, I just had this knee surgery. I need 2 more months." Before he was going to fight Ben Askren, I said, "Give me 2 months." Didn't want to fight. I said, "Bro, you've been trying to call me out for years." I was like, "You can't wait 2 months." Then he knocks out Ben Askren, who's fucking terrible. Like, terrible. And then I was like, "Okay, let's fight now." And it's literally a month later, he's like, "No, I don't want to fight you anymore. I don't want to do this and that." So it's like, he's just a bullshitter, bro. He's fighting Tommy Fury. Tommy, do you know how bad that guy that he just fought is? Tommy Fury. You know how bad that guy is? Anthony
Taylor, former.
You know how bad that guy
former
is.
Bellator fighter.
Bro, you would beat that guy's ass.
No,
like,
I wouldn't.
He's really, really.
But here's the thing. So even now, because
like he's like really bad. And like, this is how Jay Paul's a little pussy. After all that, he goes and calls out this guy that just beat a guy by decision that is literally like 5-20. He's so bad.
Okay, but so let me ask you this: you still you said, I remember when you said the Askren fight, give me 2 more months, let's do it in like June or something.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, that wouldn't have even happened.
But right? At that point though, I didn't know the surgery was failing. So I was like, all right, I'm doing rehab 2 months. I don't even need that much time for him. He's terrible. I honestly, I swear to God on my life, I stopped Jake Paul in 4 rounds. He's so bad. Tyron Woodley, from when I heard, had in the contract that he's not allowed to knock out Jake.
Oh, get out of here. That's ridiculous.
I swear on anything. That's why when he was against the ropes, I swear.
Come on.
Yeah, that's why when he was against the ropes, he didn't hit him.
Okay, so.
I'm telling you right now. It was in his contract where he said, you're not allowed to knock him out.
He's become such a big name in the world of combat now, like him or hate him. I mean, the money that he's generating. Let me just ask you this. You were calling him out.
Generating the money for how long? When I see them. Like,
what are you talking about, Dillon?
Stop it.
Come on. Listen. You were calling him out before he was fighting on Showtime and all this stuff. Is it hard for you to see him become this kind of name in combat and now not be able to fight him?
I don't think it's about not being on. I think the fight will happen. He's still calling me out.
You still think it's going to happen?
I mean, the thing is like these fights should happen. It's just like Tony Ferguson and Khabib. Like, these fights need to happen. And I think that me and him so much beef. It's not like anything ever happened. Like, he hasn't lost. I haven't lost. I think we should do it. Why not? I mean, it's up to him.
Realistically,
at the end of the day, like,
when could you fight?
He's fucking 40 years old, broke, 7 baby mamas. He has no money, and that's why he's fighting Jake Paul. Like, you see George St. Pierre calling out Jake Paul. This motherfucker wants to call himself the best welterweight of all time. He's out here. It's different. I'm 2-0. I'm a grappler, whatever. Like, you know, like we're different stages in our career. And like, look at how like Tyron Woodley's begging for him. You know, it's embarrassing.
Realistically, when do you think you could fight again?
So I'm allowed to do boxing, and I'm saying a month and a half, 2 months. Right now, I'm not allowed to turn my leg, so I can't even do boxing. I'm not allowed to even pivot. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm fucking sitting here in the fucking boardwalk, and these 7 losers are trying to jump me. I'm like, bro, like, I just had knee surgery. I'm not gonna lie. You guys are not worth my fucking knee. To be honest. I was like, no offense to you guys. I was like, yo, I have half a brain, bro. I was like, you guys are not worth this shit. And then they're fucking trying to fight me. I'm like, bro, like, I'm trying to come back and win a world championship. These guys are like trying to get their moment at the fucking Jersey Shore. I don't know what the hell was going on over there. But I'm ready to go. I want Jake Shields or Diego Sanchez next. Or even Michael Benavidez. I don't think Michael Benavidez is
what's your beef
good.
with Jake Shields? Is that an old jiu-jitsu beef?
Bro, he's a fucking... It's fucked up because we used to train together, me and Jake Shields.
Uh-huh.
You know, the only person to ever offer me steroids is Jake Shields.
Come on.
Ever. Swear on my life.
In what context?
Ever.
What context are we talking about?
I don't know. I was doing ADCC. He's like, yo, bro, like I have like a steroid dealer. They don't test. I was like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. Like, no. I was like, I've never done that in my life. I was like, yo, if I win a fight or win a tournament, I was like, I want to know I did it. I was like, I don't need that shit. He's like, oh, bro, trust me, they don't test. I'm like, nah, bro, like, I'm good. He's the only person ever in my life.
So what's the beef with him now?
I was like, fuck that. I don't know. I think he's just trying to hold on to relevancy. He's trying every time someone calls out my name, they get his tweet is the most tweet that he's ever got likes on. So that's why they keep going. Alan Quinta too. I told Alan Quinta, if you want to fight, we'll fight right here. There's video of it. And he ran away. He was like, you're lucky you have that knee brace on. I would fuck you up. I was like, go ahead, try. And me and him were fighting in the middle of the street. He's such a little bitch. If he wants, we can fight. He's going to get cut from the UFC anyway. So come to Bellator and see. Let's fight. I think Alan Quinta's not going to get cut.
Why would he get cut?
He's terrible.
He's one of the most popular fighters in the organization.
Alan Quinta.
Ally Quinta, yes. I don't know who you're talking about.
Name the guy he just lost to.
Well, it's been a long time since he fought. Dan Hooker.
No, he didn't. He just fought. No, he lost again.
Ally Quinta?
He just lost. Yeah.
What are you talking about? He's fighting next month against Bobby Green.
No, he just lost.
What are you saying? Are we living in a simulation?
How could they just lose his last fight?
No, he fought Dan Hooker.
No, he didn't.
I'm looking it up. I mean, I'm pretty certain. Here it is. Ally Quinta fought Dan Hooker, UFC 243. That was his last fight. October.
That was his last fight?
Yeah.
He just maybe he pulled out. I thought he had a fight.
He's fighting Bobby Green next month.
Yeah.
Maybe we're talking about a different guy. What's your relationship like with Conor these days?
He's one of my best friends. We talk every day.
I'm not going to ask you.
I saw him in New York.
I'm not going to ask you about him being in the news. By the way, just for the record, for people who are wondering, I've reached out to his legal team, Karen Kessler, who I think you know as well, for a comment on the story that came out in Italy. It's not fair to ask you about this, so I'm not going to do that. But they haven't replied yet. Let me ask you this: he was doing an IGTV, and you were writing, and it felt, at least to me, you tell me, it felt like a little tough love. It was like, come on, Dillon, let's go, let's get that knee fixed. It felt like. Did you read it that way?
That's like my big brother, you know.
Did it read that way?
We talk all the time, though, you know. Yeah, and that's fine, though. I think that's good, though. I think if you don't have people around you that motivate you and talk to you like that, then you don't have the right friends. And Conor is like very motivating. You know, he's going through his own stuff, but you know, he always tries motivates me to come back. It does suck. Trust me. Why would I want to be out? I want to fight. Like, I want to fight so bad. You have no idea. It fucking sucks. And like, you know, the crazy thing is, like, I know I talk a lot of shit. I know I do all this shit, but everybody's trying to go against me and like be like, oh, he's never gonna fight again. He's gonna retire. This and that. And you know that shit affects you sometimes because you know what? Like,
I can't imagine
the shit. So yeah, and it is. You know, it's a mental battle more than physical. You know, my knee. We'll get through it and I'll come back. You know, it is what it is.
But this has got to be. I mean, to be in the midst of constant hate all the time. Why do you? And
I love it to be.
Come on. And you bring it upon yourself. You bring it upon yourself. Why?
Yeah, I'm nothing. I take it all on the chin. You know, they're going to pay either way to see me get knocked out or knock someone out. So it doesn't really make a difference. And you know, it's fucked up. The one thing that pisses me off about all this shit is that they don't appreciate the entertainment. You know, it's like they all like are talking about me. They're all talking shit. John Jones is fucking tweeting at me. And it's like, okay, come on. I'm fucking, without me in MMA, what's exciting?
Stop it.
Like, I don't know.
This is, see, I can get behind some of the stuff, and then you say ridiculous crap like this. What are you talking about?
Be honest.
What?
What else is more entertaining?
On Twitter or in the cage?
Entertain.
You haven't fought since June of 2019. By the way, on my life right now, just like I'm being real on my life. You ask me right now the names of the two guys that you fought. I have no idea. If they walked into my house and asked me to fix my garage, I'd be like, yeah, sure. You could come right here. I don't know who these people are.
I mean, after you fight me, what happens? That's what they do, actually.
Who are they? Do you even know the names of the guys you fought? Do you even know the names? Come on.
I probably don't, to be honest. You're saying this and say I want to come back with like Jake Shields and Diego Sanchez. You're like, who even are?
I mean, those are no. I'm not saying. Hey, I didn't say that about Jake Shields and Diego Sanchez.
Who do you want me to see fight when I come back?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. When can you fight?
Okay, Diego Sanchez has 60 fights.
No. When can you fight?
I'll be able to train in a month and a half, 2 months, or maybe like 3-4 months. Not maybe who knows?
Realistically, you think first quarter of 2022 you can fight?
You got to understand too, when you do these knee surgeries with the grafts, they have to like.
You're covering the camera, by the way.
It's not like
you're covering the camera.
Yeah, so when with these surgeries with the knee, like the ligaments have to solidify to the bone. It's not me. Like I want to fucking train right now, But like if you go too fast, too hard, and then it breaks. I mean, the ligaments go. What are you gonna do? So
I feel like we need to. I feel like we need a shift. We've gone.
Tell me right now.
We've gone from bad boy heat to X-Pac heat.
Okay, tell me what X-Pac heat is right now. Tell me, Michael Venom Page want to fight me?
Would Michael Venom Page fight you? Is the question?
I'm saying if I come back right now, you'd be fucking dying for that payday. Be honest. And Bellator, Douglas Lima. You think he wouldn't sign the contract? They don't want to fight.
Would you sign the contract though? Would you sign it?
100%.
Yeah.
They're terrible. 100%. They're terrible.
Come on.
You see how skinny fucking Michael Venom Page's legs are? They're like your legs, bro. I was snapping thing like a twig.
Wait, calm down. This has nothing to do with me.
You don't do it like that. You know that.
I mean, I'm more of an upper body guy. I mean, you see these guns right here? Look at this. Listen. I think that we need a shift, a paradigm shift. We need to go because we've gone from bad boy. It was good. Then I felt like it got to be a bit X-Pac heatish. You know what that means? Like change the channel heat. Now I feel like we need to go babyface. We need to turn because like the comments, every time I go on the SportsCenter Instagram, there you are commenting on something on basketball.
I'm just giving my opinion.
Sometimes
my opinion.
I want to go over there and strangle you because it's ridiculous. I know you don't believe this stuff, and I know you're
Is that background magic real?
Yes, of course.
Or is that like
the Brooklyn Bridge?
The late night show, where they put the thing?
It's the Brooklyn Bridge.
I should probably show where I am, but
yeah, I know.
I'm in Hudson Yards.
What is that? The Freedom Tower?
No. So now I'm gonna get murdered. But
come on,
this is you've been to Hudson Yards.
Yeah, of course.
That's right here. This is Hudson Yards.
Why murdered? See, that again, it goes back to my thing. Why does everyone hate you?
I don't know what the hell I just hit. I don't really care, to be honest, who hates me. I have like my solid core friends. And like people I love, and then so I don't care.
Does it not get exhausting to just talk crap all the time?
I don't talk crap. I give respect to people.
Who do you give respect to, other than Connor?
There's tons of people.
Who do you give respect to? Give me one.
I would Nate Diaz. I thought he fucking fought. I mean,
I've seen you talk crap about Nate Diaz all the time.
Nate Diaz, no, Nick Diaz.
Oh, Nick Diaz. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I said, look, I was happy. I love Nick Diaz. I think that his fighting style is amazing. I want to watch that fight, and I think I was happy he came back,
Here's my concern.
Chael Sonnen, all those guys. I mean,
can I tell you my
thing is, all these guys disrespect me. So you want me to be nice to them?
No, that's fair. Listen, if they disrespect you first, then you could. But a lot of times you're going on there.
Part though is like it's so crazy. Like think about these guys. Like Alan Quinta, I see him in the street, and he's like running away. I swear to God, it's the craziest thing.
He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to run away. He doesn't. I just
swear, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Why would Alan Quinta run away? This guy fought Khabib Nurmagomedov on 23 hours notice. Why is he running away? Come on.
Look at me. Okay. Do you know Peter Cooley?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, he's one of the most honest men. You could say that. He's very honest. He doesn't talk shit. He's a very good, honest man. He's fighting for a world championship.
Yep.
He was with me. You can ask him. And he would never lie. He was with me that night. Ask him if he ran away or not.
Okay.
I'll tell you that right now. And Peter Quilley does not lie.
Should we call Al right now? Should I call Al right now and ask him?
If you want to. Give me Masvidal. Masvidal's talking shit about my arrest too. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's homeless.
Oh, come on. Masvidal's killing it right now.
He's terrible. With what? He just got knocked down unconscious.
I mean, he's making a lot of money. He's doing pro wrestling. I mean, at least
Usman. It's funny because Usman's the same way. So Ali has been talking shit, and I tweeted at him. So I seen Ali twice. I told you about that. And this motherfucker hid behind Usman, right? And we're at the thing, and Usman comes and stares me down. I'm like, "What's up?" And he just walks away. Like, what? You guys all this shit. It's so stupid.
Here's my concern.
Like, I swear about it.
My concern because of the knee injury. My concern is
I'll come back.
You don't fight again, and now you went from being one of the most respected BJJ practitioners who made the transition, and that was a big story. To now, I feel like your persona is just troll. Like people just know you as the troll, and that's not fair to you and your resume and your legacy and career. But it's been 2.5 years of this, so I feel like we dial it down and stop talking shit.
Trust me, if I go fight right now and I could go fight these guys, I'll take it in the fucking time, bro. It takes a real athlete to know like you're going through these kind of knee injuries, but like trust me, sometimes I fucking go home and cry. You think I don't want to fight? You think I don't want to do this? You think I see these guys talk online and I don't want to go kick their ass? Like trust me, it's a mental battle more than it is physical. And anybody that's been through these kind of injuries knows. Why do you think it's not easy to like watch these guys talk shit about me and I can't do anything about it? So I will come back and I will take care of them. I'm only 28 years old, and I know deep down in the bottom of my heart there's no one that could beat me in a fight. I know that, and then that's the thing I have to believe. It's funny. Like what's been helping me get through this surgery. You ever seen The Matrix?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so when the Oracle tells them like you're the one, you have to believe in your soul. I know that like deep down in my knee, like all the way to my fucking legs, bro. I know how good I am, and I know that no one can touch me, and that's what you have to go by. And you know what? I don't need to fucking prove that to anybody because I always know that. And I just need to come back from this, and I'm gonna go and I'll beat who it is in front of me. I don't care what it is. I'll knock out Jake Paul if I need to. I know what I'm capable of.
And by the way, this is very relatable what you're saying. I mean, we just spoke to Gokhan Saki at the beginning of the show, and he talked about the same things about the mental battle, about not being able to fight, about injuries. But I feel like you bring it upon yourself by talking all this smack and nonsense smack. Like
I'm sitting home anyway, fucking doing goddamn leg raises half the fucking day anyway. So why can't I talk some shit? You guys are talking shit about me.
What about Michael Bisping? Michael Bisping said he wanted you out of the MMA community.
Bro, he's obsessed with me. Obsessed. His son DM'd me, "You're my favorite fighter." I'll send you the picture.
Who, Callum?
So no, go look right now.
Well, how could I look? It's a DM.
Okay, well he follows me and like comments on my pictures like, "Oh, you're the man. Like you're the best," which is fine. And it's good. Bisping was a journeyman. This motherfucker couldn't beat Chris Lieben, and he went to a decision with Chris Lieben.
UFC champ.
Me, Chris Lieben. Stop it. You know how good, bro. You know how good I train. Okay, I'll give credit to where credit is due. I trained with Luke Rockhold before. He's one of the best people I ever trained with. He got too cocky. He's way better.
Yeah, but he still did it. He still got to the point of where he was put in a position to fight for the belt. What do you mean? Stop it. Here's the thing. I think that you are a great athlete and sportsman. But in terms of this run as of late, the 2.5 years, and I know we've kind of gone back and forth, but it's been all in good fun, whatever. Except for the time where I said, I would beat you in a boxing match. I mean, it would be fairly easy and one-sided, 10-7 Helwani all day.
I'm down to do it. Do it for money, charity.
The point is,
we'll donate to Bisping, because he's broke.
I don't want this to define you. I'm trying to come out this from like a friend perspective. I don't want this to define. I don't want you to be known as that guy.
Yeah, listen. At the end of the day, I know I might talk a lot of shit and I say a lot of things, but I'm a fighter deep down. I know what needs to be done. I know I had to come back. And, I know these things. I'm not stupid,
All right.
The Bisping, all these guys, they use my name. I'll quit. His number one show was me. You guys all use my name because I know what happens. So it is what it is. Let them go. Talk. If Bisping wants to come back, we can sign him into Bellator if he wants. It'd be a very easy fight. Trust me. You tell me right now between me and Michael Bisping, it's one eye. He's 50 years old.
You have one leg.
That's fine. One eye gets one leg.
I know. I feel like I would go with the guy with the one eye. One eye. I mean, you can't stand. Yeah. You had this dude in the Jersey Shore tap you out, for God's sake.
Stop it.
I mean,
guy, if he wasn't pretending to be an officer, it would be a lot different than we'll see what's happening.
He got you in the figure four there, like it was BJ Penn and Jens Pulver.
That's the biggest rematch of all time. Me versus Paul Blart.
That's a good. Hey,
Paul Blart and Dillon Danis as a rematch.
That's a good line there. See, that was a good line. That was not bad.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it must be crazy to sit around and see this guy going on a media tour talking about you, huh?
It's all right. I mean, it did affect me, but at the end of the day, like I know who I am. I know how good I am. Whatever. This is a guy's fucking 5 minutes of fame. The craziest thing about this whole thing is that he wasn't even involved. The dude is a scumbag. The guy picks on women and fucking screaming at my friends, like talking shit, saying like he knows how to fight. Then you got guys like Tom DeBlass. Sorry, I messed up his last name. talking like, oh, I'm training this guy. Yeah, go train some guy who's a fucking scumbag bully that picks on people at bars and gropes women. Yeah. You know what's crazy about it? Do you remember who Tom DeBlanc is? He fought you once or twice. Yeah, this motherfucker, like, bro, he talks all this shit about me, DMing me at like 4 a.m, like, sending me voice messages. He DMs every fucking student in the gym, and this motherfucker's like, you know, acts all righteous. Like, I have a bunch of girls that tell me he creeps them out, and like, I have DMs from him DMing all these girls.
We don't want to go.
He's a scumbag.
So in conclusion,
it's fine. I don't mind him. But like, you know, he talks shit about me. He tries to go at my family. So fuck him.
In conclusion,
we're a bunch of scumbags.
You are planning to return. You are planning to fight again. Probably first quarter of 2022. Fair.
So I've been trying. I want one before the end of the year. Obviously, it's very hard. It's like almost impossible. But I want to fight before that.
For Bellator?
You know, trust me. I want to fucking fight.
You're still under Bellator contract, right?
Yeah, I'll have one. I talked to Coker yesterday.
What are you talking about?
Coker. Business? What are you talking about? Like the guys that like, oh, who do you want to cut and stuff like that? Stop it. I honestly, I was wondering if there was like a limit. Fury just fought that guy that cut from belt. That guy's terrible. Mm-hmm. And now look at Jake Paul acting all tough. Oh my God! Like, you know what's crazy? And I'm not gonna get into the thing with Logan and all them too. They're such pussies.
Man, it's crazy. It must be exhausting. I can't imagine.
I know you don't. I just tell you the truth.
No, I know, but it's like,
ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth about it. If you tell me, hey, like, what do you think about that fight? I'd be like, oh, it was a great fight. I think the guy's amazing. He has a lot of talent. But you know, some things I might say the truth about.
Last thing, what? Are you
John Jones talking shit about me getting arrested 5 hours later? He's beating women and fucking getting arrested. So karma's a bitch. Because you know what? I actually have good morals and I have respect, and I know what happened. And look, I mean, just look what happens to these fuckers.
Will you be sad if the Jake Paul fight never happens? Do you feel like you missed out on a big payday?
I don't give a shit, to be honest.
No,
I really don't give a shit. No, I mean, trust me. I think like Conor kind of said this before. Like, you know, certain fights get made and the hype goes. You know, we're talking shit to each other, this and that. I think it should happen. I mean, there's nothing that's happened. He's beat Ben Askren. No, he's not allowed to fight me anymore. Like, come on. It doesn't make any sense, you know. It's like, and then he fought like fucking Tyron Woodley, who was in the contract, say he could get knocked out.
Stop it! I don't.
He can go to jail for that too.
I don't believe that for a second. That's a crazy accusation.
You tell me when he got him against the ropes, he didn't try to hit him.
I mean, yeah, these things happen.
No, come on, stop it. You did a great job, by the way, on the commentary.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I give you credit on that. See, I give credit where it's due.
I appreciate that.
I think you're actually really good at commentary.
Thank you. All right, so I feel like we accomplished a lot here. We got the story out.
What were you beefing with? You're beefing with Shab? I saw that too.
Yeah, Shab, Callan, you know. Chat shit get
It's all about that whole Dana thing, no?
Has nothing to do with Dana. I mean, they're you know, talking some lies.
I'm not gonna lie, you do drop some good promos though. I give you credit on that.
Let me tell you something. I'm a disciple of Paul Heyman, all right? I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I can drop promos left and right.
By the way, I talked to Paul Heyman. He said he was a fan. He watched me for years. I'm not going to lie. We might have a little bit something going on there.
Oh, what are you talking about? Wrestling?
Yeah. I'm not going to. No, we talk here and there. I wouldn't mind doing it.
It would be good. I mean, we got a lot on the plate here, a lot of aspirations. Get well soon.
Masvidal, he's broke now. He's at AEW. This fucking shit is so embarrassing. He threw a fake knee that was so bad.
Well, that's wrestling.
You could have sold a better knee in my life. Did you watch it? I was like,
I did watch it.
Go and do this fake wrestling shit. At least throw the knee with some intention. Like, guy looked like you like touched him. It was so, yeah, it was so bad. It was so funny.
Well, speaking of AEW, we have to get to our next guest, Junior Dos Santos. We went a little long here. Initially, you told me you were going to make this short and sweet, and we went 45 minutes. So I gave you more time.
That's 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow. So you know how mean you are. So we're talking to friends. So it's just like it's hard. You know?
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
I know.
Dylan, I hope you get well soon. Good luck with the legal issues.
Appreciate it, bro. Thank you.
It's just for my sake and your mom's sake. Your mom seems like a lovely lady.
I appreciate that.
Stop talking.
She is. Her birthday's Saturday too.
Happy birthday. Stop talking shit. Just take it down a notch. Stay out of trouble. Live your life. You know,
it's gonna be me though. The thing is like no matter what, the wins and the losses don't mean shit, bro. I'm always gonna be me. I'm just gonna have fun with it and do what I love. You know.
All right.
You dropped some good fucking promos though, so I might need some.
Talk to you later, Dylan. All the best. All right, there he is. Dillon Danis joining us. One of the more polarizing figures in combat. And honestly, I don't know what we accomplished there, but I feel like we accomplished a lot. I feel like we got a lot out there in the open, and it's up to you to decide what to make of all of this. It's a crazy thing. I mean, everyone's like, why give this guy... Look, come on. Why give this guy the airtime? I mean, just look. People are interested in what he has to say because he talks so much shit. Now, I would like for him to stop, and I would like for him to get back to fighting, competing, jiu-jitsu, whatever the case may be, but it's getting much. And then when you have Richard Jefferson, the former NBA player, who, by the way, great guy, never met him, had a chance to... I had to laugh at that, Frank. That was a good one, right? That was a good one. That was a good one. It just kind of, I just walked right into it. Great guy, never met. I just literally walked in.
Everyday vernacular.
I mean, unbelievable. That's a 1.7 for Helwani right there. Listen, Jefferson's a good guy. When he's going back and forth with you on Instagram and saying that he wants to fight you because you're pissing people off, now you got a real problem. So we'll see what happens. God bless. Hopefully all the legal troubles are smoothed over and he's able to fight again because he's still young, like you said. All right, in a matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by two guys who actually did compete on AEW this past Friday. One individual is causing a huge storm with his promos, and I think I could actually teach him a thing or two about the promo work. I mean, he's doing well. He's no Helwani, but he's doing really well. Another guy got put through a table but was victorious in his wrestling debut. It's Junior Dos Santos. It's Dan Lambert. We have Dan. We're waiting on JDS. Do we want to go to Dan first, or we can't do that? How does that work?
Stand by.
All right. Dan Lambert, of course, the co-owner, and we
bring Dan on first.
All right, sure. And then we'll bring JDS. So let's go to Dan, who's standing by. He was on time. I got to them a little late, but we did give him the heads up. Do we have him via the magic of Skype, old school? Co-founder, owner of American Top Team. There he is, Dan Lambert. Dan, why do you look so mad?
Part of my gimmick.
Okay, sorry. You're doing great, Dan. I mean, this is great stuff. Do you feel like you need a little help from me? I mean, you haven't tagged me in yet. I've been waiting for the hot tag here, Dan. I feel like you and I can really take this promo game and this whole program to another level, but I haven't gone. I'm standing at the corner of the ring with my string waiting for the hot tag, but I haven't gotten it just yet.
I'm open to any advice you want to impart upon me, Mr. Gilwan.
Thank you, Dan. We're going to be joined by JDS in a matter of moments. He's a big star now in the world of pro wrestling, so I guess he's a little late. How about you rocking the Dosprack in the back there? Those are great pictures you got. That guy's a legend.
Oh, I got Kimbo Masvidal, and I got Dustin and Connor. We do a little podcast at our gym now, so this is our podcast room.
I love it. Okay, so before we get to JDS, I did want to ask you, how did this all start with you and Tony Khan and AEW? I know you did a bit of work for Impact, but what's the genesis of this whole thing with you getting involved with them?
I got a call one night. I just sat to dinner with my wife and an old friend who had just came into town I hadn't seen in years, and we're 5 minutes into dinner, and my phone rings, and it's Malky Kawa saying, dude, you got to get down to Miami. I got a guy here I'm sitting down talking with, and you got to come meet him. I said, dude, I'm in the middle of dinner. I just got here. I can't come. Who is it? He said, it's Tony Khan. I said, I can leave here in 5 minutes. So, he had come down to meet with Malky and Masvidal, and a little bit into their conversation, Malky's like, Dad, you got to meet Dan. And Tony, he's a wrestling fan, and he had watched Impact. So he's like, bring him over. So we just became friends. He's kind of a nerdy wrestling fan like I am, so we kind of hit it off.
And so are you a part, can you take us behind the curtain for a second? Are you a performer? Are you part of the team? Can you break kayfabe? Am I asking you too much? What is your role with them? What is your deal with Tony Khan?
I show up whenever they ask me to, and I talk shit on people I don't like anyway, so it's kind of a win-win.
Okay, and you've been showing up with a lot of your fighters, Paige Van Zandt, of course, Austin Vanderford, Jorge Masvidal, Andrei Arlovski, another one, Junior Dos Santos, who made his pro wrestling debut on Friday. We have Junior, so let's bring him in here. We'll do the old split screen. Sagano, the former UFC heavyweight champ, there he is. There's Junior. He's joining us now. Junior, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ariel. How about you?
I'm doing great. Congratulations, parabéns, on your wrestling debut. You got put through a table, so that wasn't so good, by Jake Hager. Were you happy with what happened on Friday? Were you happy with your performance?
I believe so. I had I was willing. I was looking forward to go back in the ring and to go back in the octagon, to fight again. So that was a great experience. That I'm very happy with that, yeah, for sure.
How did you feel about his debut, Dan?
Man, first time a guy's in a wrestling ring on a main event, on live television, I think he did great.
Was this something that you always wanted to do, Junior, or did you get sort of roped into it because of Dan's feud with the AEW locker room?
Yeah, actually, Dan was the guy who introduced me to that world, a little more, who brought things from that world a little more close to me, because I knew it, but I wasn't really following it. And as soon as I started to travel for these shows with Dan, man, I said, whoa, these guys, they go for real. This thing can hurt very, very bad. And they they get very well prepared for that. So then I kind of felt like, man, I got to do this. I told Dan, and luckily we got a great chance, for our debut. And it was great.
Here's my one issue with all this. I'm having a great time watching it. I watched it on Friday. My one issue, Junior, and I want to get your take on this as well, Dan. Junior, you're one of the nicest guys in the world. I've never seen you not smile. You playing a bad guy is a hard thing for me to stomach because I know you're such a sweetheart. You're such a nice guy. Is it hard for you to not smile when you're out there because you're trying to be against all the wrestling guys? That must be difficult, no?
Not really, Ariel. Actually, I've been learning a lot from my career, of my life. I've been learning a lot. And like you said, I've been always that nice guy, nice for everybody. But there's some people out there, they don't deserve you to be nice with them.
Oh.
They'll turn their back on you whenever they have the chance to, So the thing is, I like being nice, but I gotta just be more cautious about who I'm going to be nice with, So I like playing that a little bad side as well that I'm doing the pro wrestling, because it brings me some kind of comfort, and I feel, man, I was feeling so excited for this debut. I was feeling like a long time I wasn't feeling in the MMA world, because all the time was a lot of pressure on top of me, and people demanding things all the time, and not caring about you. And now I was there and I was being appreciated to be there again. So I felt amazing. And I said, man, this is an amazing feeling. This is something that I felt at the beginning of my career, at the middle of my career, when I became champion. And it's great to be feeling again.
Dan, that was a great promo from Sagano.
Quit being a mark. The good guy gimmick was just his shtick in MMA. He's really an ass.
I love it. That was a great promo. That was a little I know your boys, Dan, but that was a little UFC shade there. I think that was good stuff. He was tapping into something that was real, that was bothering him inside. That was great work on his part. What do you think?
Oh, here you go again, trying to stir some shit. Maybe he's just not a real guy. Maybe you just fell for it, dude.
So what's the next step in this feud? Like, will you guys be back on Wednesday? Are you back on Friday? What's the situation, Dan?
Right now, Jericho asked for a 10-man tag match. He's got some extra backup. He couldn't handle us with a few little nerds that he brought in, so he brought in a couple more guys and challenged us to a 5-man match. We're gonna accept that, subject to some terms, and we'll show up on Saturday night on Dynamite in Orlando, and we'll let them know what our terms are for that match.
Okay, so is the match, Junior? Are you fighting again or wrestling again on Saturday, or you're just going to show up to talk about it and then it's coming at a later date?
Yeah, it's on Dan. He's the guy who's talking with them and who's organizing everything. I just had a lot of fun doing what I did, and I'm looking forward to the next step.
Is there anyone at
he's going to beat up who I tell him to beat up. He's not sure what our terms are.
Is there someone at the gym, Dan, who is telling you, like, hey, Dan, like, I want in on this? Someone maybe that we would be surprised to hear? Like, who wants to be a part of this? I feel like there's a lot of guys who are a little bit jealous that they're not being asked. Is there someone that you would be able to tell us who might surprise us that wants to be a part of this feud as well?
Hey, JDS, for all the pro wrestling hate you hear from the MMA guys, JDS, how many people at the gym want to come in and help you beat these guys up?
All of them. all of them. They're all of them are very excited, to go there and beat these guys up as well.
It feels like we're getting closer to maybe Paige getting involved in this, Dan. Is that the next one? Is she the next one?
Man, she's a little bit of a natural. You know, it's funny. We got there and she's like, okay, what do you want me to do? I said, go out there and be a bitch. And she took to that kind of like a duck to water. So, yeah, I think she's getting a little more involved every week. Jericho had some not too flattering things to say about her the other night. So I think she might want to respond.
Junior, did you watch anyone as you were preparing? Like, are you trying to emulate anyone's style in the world of wrestling from the old days? Did Dan say, hey, Junior, you have to sit down and watch this guy, how he does things, how he moves, things like that? Was there anyone that you were watching from the old days online?
Oh, not really. You know, actually, of course, there's some guys that some fights I was watching, but the main thing was I was getting advices from Dan and from also Mo, King Mo,
right,
who knows a lot about pro wrestling. So I was, taking their advices and just working on my mind how that would be, for me. And I got there, and also my team, the guys, Ethan and Sky, they were great with me, and they were teaching me good things, for me to do at the time.
How do you feel about Jake Hager Jr., who put you through the table? What do you think of him, and how did that feel?
Wow, that was a pretty hard one, actually. But it was a great experience. Like I said, Hager is also a great guy, great wrestler, a great fighter, very well prepared for that, and we did what we're supposed to do. And now I'm looking forward to have my turn to throw him on that table again.
Wait a second, Dan. He's not a great guy. He's a scumbag. He just put your guy through a table, for God's sakes. He's not a great guy. He's a turncoat. He's a Benedict Arnold.
He said he's great at what he does, just not great enough to get survive the night.
Okay. That's what I thought. Can I ask you about someone, Dan, who I think could, it's funny. I remember after the 2016 Olympic Games, there was a young woman named Kayla Harrison who stood at the podium and crapped all over MMA. Now she's become one of the best fighters in MMA. And not that long ago, she's crapping all over pro wrestling, and she's out there looking like a natural. I feel like she can take the pro wrestling world by storm and become an absolute star over there. Are there any talks of her coming over? I know she did a little appearance here and there, but actually competing as well.
Well, there's a lot of talk from Kayla because it comes out of both sides of her mouth, unfortunately.
Oh.
Into MMA, could talk like pro wrestlers. Now she lives for MMA. Then I'll never get into pro wrestling. And a few months later, she's sitting in the middle of the ring with 20,000 people there kissing her muscles and telling people to go piss off. I think she's a natural for it as well. She's got a lot of charisma. She's kind of mean. She's good at the shit talk. She never shuts the hell up. I think she could draw a lot of money just from people who want to see her get shut up. I'd pay a lot of money myself if she couldn't talk in the gym. She's busy right now. She's got $1 million to win at the PFL next week. We got 5 people fighting for $1 million on that show, October 27th at the Hard Rock down here. We're pretty excited about that. But when that's over, hopefully there's some good things coming from her.
Yes, free agent, right? That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, my understanding, I don't manage Caleb. My understanding was this is her last year under contract with PFL, and after her fight, they'll figure out what she's doing, whether it's a return there, whether it's going over to Bellator to fight Cyborg and beat her up, or maybe it's try to throw her hat in the UFC ring. Who knows? I guess highest bidder wins.
Right. I think there's a 145 champion in UFC. That would be a good fight. What's her name again, that champion?
You mean champ?
Yo, that's right.
UFC. Yeah, put some respect in your mouth, Ariel.
Sorry. What would you do, by the way? What would you do, by the way, if that happened? If they tried to match them up, how would you feel about that?
I do everything I could to avoid it. I don't like it whenever people fight. Usually when you go into a fight, you got at least a 50-50 chance of leaving happy or sad. Put 2 of our people against each other, especially in such a high-stakes fight, you got a 100% chance of leaving, feeling pretty bad for somebody. But hey, sometimes shit happens. And if it ever were to happen, we'd separate the training, pick out training partners and coaches that would help each, and, may the best man or woman win.
Junior, speaking of free agency, what's your future in MMA? Are you talking to anyone? Are you close to going back, or is it just pro wrestling for you now?
Well, I've been talking with some people. Actually, I have some people representing me and working on that for me. I don't really know what's gonna be next, but I'm looking forward for the next opportunity. Maybe it can be unboxing too. That makes me very happy, you know. So yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. But for now, it's pro wrestling, and I'm in love with that.
There, you know, this group Triller is getting MMA fighters like Vitor and Anderson. Showtime had Tyron Woodley. Are you interested more in doing boxing than MMA? Because you accomplished everything in the UFC, you became champion. Does the idea of being a boxer now interest you more than an MMA fighter?
Not now. I was always a boxer. You know,
Yeah.
my main thing was always boxing, different of many other guys. And yeah, these guys are doing Thriller and many other organizations. I think they're doing a good job with this kind of promotion right now. And I'm looking forward to have a challenge like that, you know, my career. But you know what? It's kind of hard to find heavyweights with courage enough to take these fights. You know, these guys they just want easy fights, and I'm not easy fight for nobody. You know, I'll be there the way I'm feeling. You know, the excited I'm having right now in my career. I'll be there to knock anyone out, as I always did. And I can tell you, Ariel, I'm feeling like I'm back on action, and I can't wait to have this kind of a challenge.
Dan, are you having more fun doing this than anything in your career?
You mean anything in my life? Yeah.
Okay, in your life, really? This is a. I mean, we've talked about your room with the belts. You're a mark. I mean, you're a longtime fan dating back to what, the 70s, 60s, 50s, maybe. I mean, you were there in the front row for Gorgeous George, right? As a 25-year-old or something.
Absolutely.
This is a dream for you. You probably never thought that this would ever even happen.
Yeah, it's a fucking blast. I'm sitting backstage talking to Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, Jake Roberts. It's pretty damn cool.
Who's
now, the people in the crowd? Some of those other wrestlers, I might not have such good things to say about them, but the experience in and of itself is a lot of fun.
Greatest ever on the microphone, in your opinion, Dan? Who is it?
Roddy Piper.
Just when you know all the answers,
I change the question.
That's right. Greatest manager of all time.
I love Bobby Heenan, but as much as I love him, I got to give the nod to Jim Cornette, even though he can be a dick at times.
Interesting. Wow. So not Paul Heyman. You're going old school.
I'm going old school.
I love it. I love it. And is the plan for you to stick around at AEW?
I don't know. I'm trying to do as much damage as I can, as quickly as I can do it. We may get bored just beating all those guys up and slapping them all down on the microphone at the same time. So if we get bored, we'll be done. If we can knock down their ratings a little bit by exposing some of the shit they do that we don't like, we might be done. Or we may stick around a lot if we just keep having fun doing it.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm tuning in. I'm enjoying it. Congrats on the successful debut this past Friday. And you say Saturday you'll show up. Why is it Saturday? Is it because of baseball? It's usually Wednesdays. They're doing it on Saturday?
It's every Wednesday for Dynamite and Friday for Rampage, but the last Wednesday and this Wednesday got preempted for either hockey or baseball, playoffs or what. So it'll be this Saturday for Dynamite and then back to every Wednesday.
And Junior, you'll be there on Saturday?
I'm not sure. Will I?
Will Junior be there?
JDS says, I got two fists. You call me when you need them. So we got to figure out if we need them for Saturday or not.
All right. I love it. Guys.
I'll be right here ready for that.
I love it. Well done. It was a pleasure to see you in action on Friday, and I'll keep tuning in as well. You are representing the MMA community very well. You don't need me to say this, but thank you for your service.
Thanks, Ariel.
All right. Take care, guys. There he is. Junior Dos Santos, the former UFC heavyweight champion, and Dan Lambert, the founder and owner of American Top Team. It's fun. I don't know if any of you have been watching it. It's a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. There's WWE and AEW going head to head, and they went head to head on Friday. What happened was AEW is usually on Fridays. This is what happened. SmackDown is usually on Fridays on Fox, but because of the baseball playoffs, they moved it to FS1, 8 to 10. And then it's usually 10 o'clock on, Mark Ramundi's going to kill me for this one, I believe TBS Rampage, which is the AW show. So there's no head-to-head. It's 8 to 10 and then 10 to 11, I believe. But this time, WWE came back and said, we're going to go an extra half hour, 10 to 10:30. No commercials. So straight, load the deck, some big names, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, etc. They go back-to-back, 10 to 10:30 with that extra half hour. So at the same time as AEW, then AEW responds and says, hey, we're going to go 9 to 10 on YouTube with our buy-in. So there's all this one-upsmanship. I mean, I'm confusing myself here. It's fun, though. Rising tide lifts all boats, competition, better product, better matches, bigger names involved. Pro wrestling fans are winning. MMA fans are getting Aspen Ladd, Norma Dumont against, whatever, and, MMA, pro wrestling fans are getting. I'm just kidding. It's a totally different product. Obviously, these guys can show up every single week and compete or show up and do an interview, be a part of the broadcast, be a part of the product. In MMA, it's obviously different. You show up 2-3 times. But it is fun. And it's cool to see the MMA fighters involved. Paige Van Zandt was there on Friday. Austin Vanderford was there. And Jorge Masvidal showed up as well. He was in the corner. Hit the flying knee, Chris Jericho. So in about 25 minutes, we're actually going to be joined by Gamebred. Not necessarily to talk about that. I'll bring it up. But more to talk about his fight with Leon Edwards that was finalized last week. 2.5 years in the making. We shall finally see those two go toe-to-toe. And that will be on December 11th on the card headlined by Dustin Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. Also, Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. All right. Like I said at the very top of the show, before we get to Masvidal, we've got 24 or so minutes before we get to him. Unless someone... Mark Ramundi, how are you, sir? Did I get it right? I don't know. Did I get it right? AEW is on Rampage. Of course, Mark is watching when I'm talking wrestling. He doesn't watch any other time, but he watches when I'm talking wrestling. 24 minutes, we'll be joined by Jorge Masvidal. I said at the top of the show, I didn't get to a lot of your questions on Wednesday because I went a little long with my promo. And I felt like I shortchanged you guys. I really do want you to feel like you're a part of the show and a part of the On the Nose segment. And so I'm actually going to go back to that thread and answer some of the questions for the next 24 or so minutes. And so stay tuned for that. For now, though, a quick word from our good friends over at DraftKings. Yes, DraftKings. We love DraftKings. You can hit my music, Frankie.
There is no music for this.
I thought last week we talked about a jingle.
Yeah, we talked about a lot last week.
Yeah.
We just have to be patient.
Okay. Like a nice jingle, like a da 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 da.
I think it'll be great.
All right.
For next time.
Okay, for next time. I look forward to it on Wednesday, perhaps. I don't know. You tell me whenever you guys are ready for the jingle. For now, though, I will let you know that if you are an NFL fan and you're hungry for a big win, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the National Football League, has you covered. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game. And if they do, you win $200 in free bets. It's that simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, and please use the promo code THEMMA Hour. That's code THEMMA Hour this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit required and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's answer some questions here. Okay, so I'm going back to that old thread, and I felt like I just didn't have time. I ran through everything. There's even... Wow, this guy's smart. He went back. Now, Nick Swin is the first one there, but he went back and added something an hour ago. I don't think that's fair. That's not in the spirit of what we're trying to do.
Ariel, what time is it?
Oh, yes. I forgot. How did I forget?
Time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA.
Sorry, I'm trying to get to the... You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived to hear from the man himself, Ariel.
A little bit off my game.
Live from the Fox Studios in beautiful New York City.
That's right.
It's on
Real
the
picture.
nose. And now, to answer your questions, get out of your seats and on your feet because here he is, Ariel Helwani.
That's right. Ariel Helwani. That's my bad. That's my bad. You see, here I am berating you for no theme song, and I forget to, I was just completely thrown off. All right. Luis Gilmore, he was the one that started all of this with the hot tag. Now, let us go down and answer some of these questions. Okay, here we go. The first question is a PF Chang question. Come on, I'm not doing this again. But we'll see. Well, I'll just say a conversation happened. I will just say this. A conversation happened and a promise was made. We're about to find out if a promise was kept. If a promise was kept, I'm done. If not, I'll see you Wednesday. But for now, I'm standing down. All right, here we go. I want to start with a good one. Ariel, how many times do you think Stylebender and Bobby Knuckles will fight? That's an interesting one. I could see them being, in there 3 times with each other, but yeah, I'll say twice. The latest on that fight is hopefully February. That's the latest. So we know January 22nd will be Francis Ngannou against Cyril Gane. Shooting for February, but they're a little far apart right now is what I'm hearing. What's up with Holly's knee? She posted a picture standing on one leg a few days later. Yeah, she injured her knee. Mike Winklejohn told us this last week, and hopefully she'll return by the end of the year. I saw a lot of people saying, run back Norma Dumont versus Holly Holm. That was the fight that was supposed to be made. I don't think, before Holly got injured and then they put in Aspen Ladd, I don't think that Holly really wants to fight at 145. If I'm being honest. So I'd rather see her fight at 135. Remember, a year ago, she beat up Irene Aldana in a great performance. In a performance where I thought Aldana would be, in a prime position. You win this fight, you beat Holly Holm, and then you're maybe one fight away from fighting for the belt. Or even the next one. And Holly Holm dominated that fight. And so I think that Holly Holm is best served fighting at 135. Now, the big question is, Kayla Harrison fights on October 27th. Her contract up at the end of the year. Kayla Harrison versus Norma Dumont at 145 in Harrison's UFC debut. Harrison's going to get paid. Harrison's going to win on October 27th. I don't even know what the odds are for that fight. I feel certain. Clip this off if I'm wrong. Send it to Old Takes Exposed. Is it Cold Takes Exposed? Old Takes Exposed? I don't know what it is. Send it to them. You know the Twitter feed I'm talking about. She's winning that fight, and she is going into free agency as one of the most desired fighters in the history of free agency in MMA. Now, I know it's not a rich and storied history, but she's going to be a very, very hot commodity. If I'm Bellator, I am making a strong play. Kayla Harrison is a star. Kayla Harrison is an absolute star. I'm making a hard play to sign her to do that Cyborg fight. If I'm the UFC, I want her as well to do the Nunes fight, to, fight at 145, debut with a Norma Dumont type of fighter. And so I don't think that Holly Holm is going to fight at 145, or I don't think she wants to fight at 145. I wonder if, there aren't that many 145ers in the UFC right now. So maybe Norma versus Kayla? Ariel, do you have any personal relationship with Joe Rogan? I love how all the questions are about my relationships with the fighters. And then every time it gets clipped off or something, or someone recaps what I say, they say, I'm looking for drama. I'm looking for all kinds of headaches. I'm looking, I saw one guy right just now. Ariel's looking for, no, I'm not. I'm just answering. You guys are asking me the questions and I'm answering them in the most honest way possible. And you love to know my relationship. I do not have a personal relationship with Joe Rogan. He was very kind to me earlier in my career. He let us go backstage, Casey and I, to film him before one of his comedy sets, I think July of 2010. I don't think he should be removed. I actually think he serves a great purpose for the UFC broadcast. Am I a huge fan of the podcast? I don't really listen to it. It's just not, I'm more of a sports podcast guy. My uncle, Gad said, has been on his podcast multiple times. In fact, I think I actually introduced Gad to Joe we're not that close as well, but that's just, I don't live in Montreal and things like that. And so I don't really get involved in all the hate towards Joe or all the chatter around Joe. He serves a great purpose. I already talked about not loving what he said after 199, but I'm not like holding on to that hate. And no, I've never been invited to the podcast, and I'm totally fine with that. Much love. It's great. He's making a lot of money. One of the very first guys to embrace the world of podcasting, and it paid off. Ariel, have you watched Fighting in the Age of Loneliness? No, I haven't. But that sounds really interesting. What is it about? Let me just Google that really quickly. Fighting in the Age of Loneliness. Is it about history of... Oh, it's a documentary from SB Nation. This might have been when I was, working elsewhere. I will check that out. Thank you. Jake from Windy City here. Do you have any favorite fights from these 3 past eras? Pride FC, WEC, and Strikeforce. Wow. One of my favorite WEC fights, Takeya Mizugaki versus Miguel Torres, WEC 40. I was there. University of Illinois, Chicago, UIC Pavilion. Man, 2008. By the way, tomorrow is the 14-year anniversary of my very first website, my foray into the world of MMA journalism, jerrypark.com, which is still around. October 19th, 2007. I left my job at Spike TV as a production coordinator. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I was there for a week. I didn't like the job. And I said, you know what? This is the crossroads of my life. I'm going to start my own website. Every morning, I'm going to post an interview with a fighter, an audio interview. I'd reach out to them via MySpace. And I was going to give myself from October to April 1st, 2008 to get a job. And if I didn't, I'd go back to TV production. And it started October 19th with an interview with Kurt Angle, who had just been arrested for a DWI, I believe. And we did this long interview, and Dave Meltzer wrote about it on his Wrestling Observer newsletter. It was a huge thrill for me. And so that was 14 years tomorrow. 14 years ago tomorrow, October 19th. And I even went to a few events. I went to an HGNet Fights event in December of that year. I mean, that was my start. And then I got the call from MMA Rated with 3 days left on my deadline, March 28th, 2008, my future wife's birthday, no less. I started crying. I was very, because I'm an old boy. I cry, sensitive, and I realized the dream, and it all started then. Why am I talking about this now? I'm not sure. Oh, WEC. Pride FC. I mean, there's a lot of them. Randleman Krokop. Randleman Fedor. I mean, the Krokop fights I loved. Barnett. Gomi Diaz. Those are some that come to mind. The Bob Sapp ones were awesome. Nogueira fights were awesome. Strikeforce, I mean, Thompson Melendez was great. The trilogy was great. Not a top 5 trilogy or anything like that, but, definitely in the discussion. Diaz, Frank Shamrock was a great one. Diaz Daly was a great one. So many great ones. Fedor Verdum, short but shocking. Non-MMA questions. Stephen A. and Max Kellerman have been having debates on First Take constantly, not anymore. So to put you on the spot, if you have to rank your top 5 GOATs in all of sports, who would those be? My personal top 5 list, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Phelps, Lionel Messi. Man. Basketball, Patrick Ewing. Football, Jim Kelly. Hockey, Patrick Roy. Soccer, Freddie Adu. No, I'm just I'm just messing. I mean, that's a pretty damn good list. Hard to argue with Ali, Jordan, Gretzky. No football in there. Maybe this is a European. Who would be the GOAT in football? Brady? Josh Allen in like 15 years. Ariel, if the UFC was to begin having bigger cards but less frequent cards, wouldn't this make it much tougher to talk on your podcast weekly? Or would you only do your show if the UFC has one? Hell no. There's a lot going on. I mean, look, okay, let's say they had bigger cards but less of them, right? Once every 2-3 weeks. There's still 12 fights, 24 fighters on every card. We were doing this show back when it wasn't even cool to do these shows. Before anyone was in their little spare bedroom looking into a Zoom camera. You know what I'm saying? So there's always plenty to talk about. I just want, I want quality. I want, rich, deep cards with big names top to bottom. The prelims have big names. That's all I want. Ariel, did you see that Derek Rose got engaged at MSG? A rare ring ceremony there. I mean, come on. Go Bulls. Real talk. What's with that hack podcaster that tries to come at you? I told you, not today. Okay? Not today. We'll see. By Wednesday, we'll know. We'll see if what happened in our private conversation comes to fruition. We'll know. So I'm being a good soldier. Sometimes Helwani can check himself and say, you know what? We'll stand out. There's a few other guys that are deserving of a little hot tag action, and they know who they are, trying to disparage my name, trying to bend the truth. They're in the corner begging to be made famous. They just want the rub so badly, begging for Helwani to come over and say, okay, fine. I'll give you the rub. I'll put you over. I'll cut a promo on you. But for now, not in the mood. Not in the mood. No, not in the mood. How about this? Hey, Ariel, this is an appreciation post rather than a question. Dropping the bomb a few shows back that Mike Heck was the creator of the Rick's Picks song raised him several notches in everyone's book. As it should. Really enjoyed the segment with GC. As you should. He has a calming voice that puts the listeners at ease. Wow. Amazing. Who's writing this? GC's mom? Would love to have an unannounced New York Rick appearance with his theme song dropping randomly during the show, NWO style. Keep up the great work. I mean, this guy's cutting a promo right here, Dallas, New York. It's not a bad idea. Bellator prediction for October 27th. There isn't the Bellator on October 27th. Do you mean October 23rd? Or PFL prediction on October 27th? I told you Kayla Harrison's going to win. October 23rd, Fyodor is going up against Tim Johnson. He asked for that fight in his home country. So we'll see. Don Black writes, shout out Don Black in Chicago. I remember when it was just 30 questions on this Q&A. That was like 2 weeks ago. All right. Okay, here's my man Abhisek. Dear Ariel, as we always talk about lack of competition in terms of MMA supremacy, which shall challenge the UFC, do you really feel any of the current promotions like Bellator, PFL, and others are intentionally trying to manage low profiles to maintain their little presence rather than being gobbled by UFC? No. I think they all want to be as big as possible, and they don't have to be gobbled by the UFC. You allow yourself to be bought out. Like, UFC doesn't come in there with two guns blazing and say, hey, give me your promotion. Does one championship, which is planning to make headway in North American market, have a real chance to make headway considering their lack of knowledge about the market and be a worthy competitor to the UFC? I have my doubts with the Turner deal coming to an end. If I were them, I would stick to Asia and focus on that market and dominate that market. Obviously, COVID changed their plans to come over here, and I don't know. I sort of feel like they should focus on growing the brand over there as much as possible. Do you believe an established business unit like WWE can diversify their stream to have an MMA promotion? Do you feel Hunter, this time it's Hunter Hearst Helmsley, not Hunter Campbell, has that much bandwidth to look at this segment? By the way, bandwidth, it's a term that triggers me right now. I reached out to someone for an interview, not for this, for my own little personal thing, and I was told they don't have the bandwidth to talk to me. Do you know what kind of an ego hit that is, to be told by someone that they don't have the bandwidth right now to talk to me for 30 minutes? What a loser I am, right? Gosh, don't have the bandwidth. What a kick to the balls that was. Anyway, I don't think WWE is going to get involved into the MMA business, and I don't think they should as well. You know, they've dabbled in other things like bodybuilding, things like that, but stick to what you know. Now, a fun question: if you are asked which of the following could be more successful promoter than the other to run new promotion and take it to the top, EA Sports, Ranking Mafia DC, or the undisputed Shug ruler, Submission Underground ruler, American Gangster Uncle Chael. Who would be a better promoter? I think Chael would be, because, and I say this with the utmost love, respect, I love Chael like a brother. I think Chael, it's easier for Chael to bend the truth. And I think a promoter sometimes needs to, you know, bend the truth a little bit. Chael more of a natural promoter, so I would go with Chael. Which is a better fight, and what happens in each? GSP Khabib, Jones, and Ngannou. I think Ngannou beats Jones right now. GSP Khabib depends on the weight class. If it's at 170, GSP. If it's at 155, Khabib. Shout out Helwani. Too many big questions this week. Who will be the next guest on the Helwani show, and will it be AJ Hawk? No. I love AJ Hawk. I should talk to him. Renee Paquette, if you're familiar with her. I'm looking forward to that very much. Could you get Dan Raphael, Steve Kim, or Dougie Fisher on the show, reporter to reporter talk on Fury Wilder, and their take on boxing being alive and well? I think boxing is alive and well. I think boxing's doing great. This was from last week. Are Canadian Thanksgivings really as similar to American celebrations as you've shared sweet potatoes, pumpkin pie, turkey, etc.? Inquiring minds, what did you do? Give the play-by-play as if you're on Showtime. Okay, Amy Otis. In reality, we did nothing. I never actually celebrated Thanksgiving as a kid, believe it or not. I didn't even have off from school. Thanksgiving in Canada is on a Monday as opposed to a Thursday. There's some CFL football on. I wonder if GC's ever gambled on CFL. I'm going to guess no. But maybe I'm wrong. You let me know. And we didn't really do anything. It wasn't that big of a deal. It's nowhere near the kind of deal that it is here in America. But yes, it's the same type of stuff. Sweet potatoes, pumpkin pie, turkey. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite holiday, now living in the States 20 years, because there's no religious attachment. It's a great time of year. The sports, the leaves, the weather, all this stuff. But in Canada, at least in Quebec, I hear it's bigger in Ontario, British Columbia, and other parts of Canada, but in Quebec, not a big deal, at least where I grew up. Not a big deal at all, believe it or not. Hey, Ariel, this is from my man Ian. Did Cesar Gracie ever reach back to come on the show? No. Can you elaborate more on what you know? No. He just said it's not a good time. I know that there was a falling out way back when between him and Nick, and then they reunited just before he was announced to come back and fight. Did they have another falling out? I don't think so. I noticed Nick and Halleck Gracie had Halleck Gracie in his corner. I don't think he did. I don't think that's right. I think he had Half Gracie, if I'm not mistaken. How dare he snub the nose? I agree. Nick was managed by a guy named Kevin. Kevin and Caesar, I think, had a bit of a tete-a-tete, and then Caesar took over on the back end, and I don't really know where all that stands. That was a lot of drama. Ariel, 2 questions. Does an impressive Hamza win leapfrog him over Leon? God, no. Are you kidding me? He hasn't fought in over a year. Was there a time where you were starstruck meeting someone while working in MMA? I don't know if I was ever starstruck per se, but there were definitely moments like, wow, I can't believe I'm standing next to BJ Penn right now. Wow, I can't believe I'm standing next to Fyodor Emelianenko right now. But starstruck to the point where I felt like I couldn't ask a question, where I was nervous. You know, when I did the NBA stuff, I'm like, wow, I'm standing next to Kawhi Leonard right now. But I've never really truly felt starstruck, for better or worse. All right, just a couple more. And in 2 minutes, we're going to be joined by Jorge Masvidal. Hey, Ariel, top 3 MMA moments to be immortalized in Canvas. Also, props to being much more than an MMA show with guests like Cruz and Fury highlighting the issues of mental health. You've been a huge help in a troubling time. Keep it up. Thank you, Nick. Man, top 3 moments. I mean, Royce Gracie winning UFC 1. top 3 moments in MMA history. I mean, the next one that came to mind was the Showtime kick. I mean, there's so many. Conor knocking out Aldo, Diaz, submitting Conor, Holm knocking out Ronda. I don't know. Those are a few that come to mind. I'm so happy and love that the MMA Hour is back. When you made the change to DC and Helwani, when you announced it, you said you wanted to do that kind of show because you were burnt out on your prior layout. How did your show with DC on ESPN become permanent, and why did ESPN remove the old format and go that way? Ever since I got there, they wanted to make the show shorter. They wanted to have less guests, and it was a constant back and forth, back and forth. And then I felt like I couldn't have certain guests, and I couldn't say certain things. And by the end, it was like, all right, I can't even do the show the way I want to do it anymore. And we were literally going to change the format dramatically 2 weeks before COVID. It was going to change dramatically. It was something I was not happy about, and I had no say in the matter. And it, quite frankly, really depressed me. I felt like my soul was dying. And then COVID hits, and we say, hey, you know, let's just do this thing with DC for the time being. We were about to do a radio show once a month, and it just felt like an easy placeholder. And then the DC thing started to gain momentum, and all of a sudden, you know, it became a thing, and it became sort of a blessing in disguise. It was fun. I was looking forward to it. But towards the end, and I chose this life, I was missing the interviews and the format and the desk and the set and the studio and live. I was missing all these things. And so one day, DC and Helwani, I hope returns, and I hope we get to do the show again. I know you guys miss it. I miss it as well. But for now, I'm very happy. P.S. I love DC and Helwani too. You two had amazing chemistry. I'm pumped for you to have him as a guest, and hopefully it's for an entire hour. Never. I'm never going to have him on the show. He's dead to me. But yes, it was crazy looking back. Like, we were literally 2 weeks away from the show. Like, I had lost the battle at that point. We were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I finally lost the battle. I mean, the show started off as like 5 hours with 15 guests, and it kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I had to drive to Bristol. And I'm not complaining. Look, it was a dream thing, but like that's a 4-hour commute every Monday, and you're tired after the show. And so it just wasn't what I signed up for. And then March of 2020, it was going to change dramatically. It was still going to be a Monday show, less interviews, shorter show. I wasn't happy, but I didn't have much of a say at that point. And then COVID hits, and then we change it all up. Crazy, right? Helwani doesn't F around these days. This is the golden age of the MMA Hour. Keep up the great work, Ariel. I'm legitimately excited for Monday and Wednesday shows. Wow. Thank you. Marcas MMA. All right. Okay, so I think I got to most of them here. Is there one quick one I can slide in? Who are your top 3 unranked UFC fighters that you think have the best chance to contend for a championship one day? I think Ian Gary's one. Is Jack Shore ranked? He's another one. Who else? I mean, it's hard on the spot here to think of these. Those are 2 that come to mind. Can I think of one more on the spot? Casey O'Neill, is she ranked? I think she's going to be a star. Those are 3. Is Casey O'Neill ranked? She's 14th. Whatever, 14th. You get the point. All right. Thank you for all the questions. I'll answer more on Wednesday on a new thread, so stay tuned for that. Wednesday's going to be a fun show. And in a matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by Mr. Gamebred himself, Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal.
What's up, man?
Oh, he's here? Oh, wow. I didn't know. Oh, there he is. I didn't even know you were there. You just appeared in my ears. I didn't even know you were here yet. Jorge, am I saying it the right way? Masvidal.
Masvidal.
I thought there's a bit of a rolling of the tongue, like a Masvidal, no?
There's no R, so you didn't roll the tongue. I tell everybody you're my close friend. Can't even pronounce my last name.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. By the way, your closest friends call you Georgie, but we supposed to call you, what is it? I can't even get it straight.
It's a fucking troll job. That's why. They love to fucking troll me. My name is Jorge, and they know that I don't like to say it because then people will constantly do it. But Georgie doesn't exactly excite me. You know, it more upsets me than anything. So they know what they're doing.
Wait, your managers, Abe and Malky, call you Georgie.
You know Abe and Malky, obviously, I'm assuming, right?
Yes,
like on a personal level?
Yes.
Do the math.
Okay.
You know why they call me.
Okay.
You know exactly why they call me Georgie.
Well, this is great, Jorge. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Always great to talk to you. We have a lot to discuss, but I first have to ask you about the new news first. I mean, I see you dropping flying knees, attacking Chris Jericho. You're at AEW. What's going on here? Are we leading to a pro wrestling match, a Jorge Masvidal pro wrestling match? Is that where this is going?
There's a lot of savages over there on that side, on that AEW side. Lots of savages, right? We could agree. I'm sure you've seen a bunch of them.
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them.
Savages, right? You would say?
Yeah.
I'm here to domesticate them. That's it, man. You do the rest. I don't know who, when, and where, but I'm a hired gun, Ariel, as always.
You enjoying this?
The fuck out of it.
It seems like you guys are enjoying it.
Oh, I'm having a blast. Dan Lambert is a diehard wrestling fan. I mean, the only thing that he would listen to me. Dan Lambert has pictures of all his favorite fighters in his house. He's probably his kids are gonna get upset that I say this, but he actually doesn't have pictures of his kids in the house.
Oh my god!
So, Dan loves American Top Team ATT so much he wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world for no amount of money. But the only thing that comes comparable to that is pro wrestling, and Dan loves pro wrestling. So when the opportunity came and I get to be next to the general Dan Lambert, I was like, yeah, let's go beat some people up, you know.
Okay, so that's Friday, but earlier in the week, Jorge, we got massive news. Finally, 2.5 years in the making, you versus Leon Edwards, December 11th, Las Vegas, Nevada, one of the biggest grudge matches in UFC history. In the past, you didn't seem open to fighting Leon Edwards. Why are you fighting him now?
Well, in the past, I was fighting ranked opponents and for belts. You know, now I got a little bit of downtime. I'm like, yeah, I'll fight this guy. I don't got shit to do right now, you know?
Is this personal for you, this fight?
I've always said it. Nothing's personal. It's all business in this game. I just, I don't like the dude. I could care less for him. If he gets rich or if he doesn't get rich, I don't wish him any good or bad. I could care less for this individual since I've met him, you know? And it's still the same thing. I could give a fuck less about him. It's just another guy in the way of me achieving my goals and dreams and all the things that all the aspirations I've had since a child. So
he says it's personal for him, that it's never been this personal.
I'm glad it is, you know. I mean, he's an idiot. I'm going to still do what I do, slap him up, beat him up, and upset him the whole damn time, you know, while we're fighting. But to me, it's never personal with these guys, you know. It can be. This is a business. I signed up for this. I know exactly what I signed myself up to since I signed the dotted line when I was 18, you know. I knew what I was getting myself into.
Do you understand why it's personal for him?
I don't give a fuck why it's personal for him or not, to tell you the truth. I know you guys are friends and you're like his therapist, counselor. Like he was crying in the show.
Come on.
Not to be rude to you, but I really could give a fuck why it's personal to him. I don't care. It's not my business, my concern. I know what I have to do, and I know what I'm going to get done on December 11th.
We're not beefing, are we?
Me and you never, my brother.
Okay. I just, you know, sometimes I feel like he gets the raw end of the deal. I think he should have, you know, fought for the belt earlier or fought a Gilbert Burns for a #1 contender. That's all.
Well, you say that without knowing also because you know that when I fought Usman in 6-day notice, they had given him, like, before they offered it to
that's fair.
To Gilbert, they offered it to scared ass Leon Ho Edwards. And what did he do? He didn't take the fight in 5 weeks notice, right? So then they gave it to Gil, and then Gilbert got sick, and I'm the only one that took the fight in 6-day notice. You think I wanted to fight in 6-day notice? No, but I had the opportunity to do it, so I did it. So he's had opportunities to fight for the belt and ranked opponents, but it's always something for him. He says one thing, but it's the complete other. You know, he says, I'm ready to fight everybody else and this and that, but then when he's with the UFC, he's like, I need a 10-week training camp. I need this, I need that. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. You should have been training and you should have been getting after it the way that you talk. That you always want to fight and fight and fight. I mean, I pulled off like 5 fights while he got like 1 in. So I don't know how he could deserve a title shot. You know?
Okay,
I just think I just think he plays on your emotional side, Ariel, and he's got you by the strings, man.
Who's laughing over there in the background? Who's the peanut gallery over there? Show your face.
He's gonna remain anonymous.
Okay. Okay. So were there other options that you wanted? Was there other options that you were maybe a little more, interested in? And they said, "Hey, we want this fight to go." Like, what were you thinking? Did it take some convincing for you to accept this fight?
I told the UFC, get me the fight that gets me closer to fighting for the belt again and the most money. And that's what they came up with.
He, speaking of that, he tweeted right before the fight was first reported, millionaire, something like that. Is he getting big bucks for this fight? What do you know about it?
I know that he's getting his biggest paycheck ever, and it's because of me. And the whole time, from the start of him calling me out, I've always said, I'm going to fight this guy. But when I say, the whole time he was saying he wasn't going to fight me, then I said, you know what? I'm going to fight you right now. And guess what? He's fighting me right now. So as this interview goes down and the word spread and people copy and paste this, he does what I say when I say. So we're fighting again when I said. Not when he said backstage, oh, let's do this. I want to fight you in July. No. All you're getting is a quick, I'm going to check your ass real quick, let you know who's the boss here. And then I'm going to actually fight you in the prize ring when I say, when I see fit, He's a coward, and he's completely out of place here. So I know why he's taking it personally.
So I know you said it's not personal for you, but he says it's personal. He comes from a tough place, Birmingham, England. No joke where he comes from. I know you come from a tough place too.
Ariel, again, I'm not gonna diss Birmingham or nothing, but I don't care where he comes from, because where I come from and how I grew up, that guy wouldn't have lived one day in the actual heat of the moment. He never would have survived. He would have just stayed home the whole time, waiting for his parents to get like Wi-Fi or something for him to develop social skills, because this guy's a coward. What he did to me in England showed me everything I ever needed to know about this guy. He could say that he grew up in this or that place, but he didn't. He comes from a place that's not what he says. I'm telling you, man, this guy's not who he says he is at all. Nobody that is like that, that comes from these places, acts like he does. He's a coward, and I'm going to say it to his face before and after I beat his ass.
Wait a second. What did he do to you in England? I don't know about this. What did he do? I mean, we saw the stuff on camera, but what did he do to you?
Everything that you saw on camera, and some of the things that you didn't hear, like cutting me off in my interview. And then when you're talking all this crap, and then when somebody gets to your face, you're like, you're like hesitant about it. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen if you come from these places. Like, you see I'm walking towards you, and you're walking towards me, and you're going to say I assaulted you. Like, that's coward shit. He was saying assault, and he originally wanted to call the cops on me. But what would have happened? That wouldn't look good for his brand, and I'm such a tough guy thing that he's trying to proclaim. So that's why he didn't want to call the cops. But originally, they wanted to press charges on me when you started this fucking altercation. I'm here doing my own interview, doing my thing. I just got fight of the night. Just got knocked out of the night. Like, I don't give a fuck about you, Edwards. Why are you ruining my interview? This is my time to shine. You're trying to steal that. You're trying to talk shit. Nobody gives a fuck about you in your own hometown. You just had a fight that night. Nobody was even talking about his fight because it was so boring. And he's just, he's a clout chaser. That's always what he's been. I got into the sport because I actually love the sport. I love the fight. I love to compete. This guy got into the sport because, I don't know, maybe he thought he could score a first date or something with some chick. It's all going to show the December 11th.
I just want to ask you about one thing from that night. He said that afterwards they had to like hide you in a hotel and rush you to the airport and all that stuff. Is that true, or is he making that up?
I didn't leave England for another 2 days because I didn't have my passport. I'm actually going to put all these documents up so again I could expose this fucking coward. The embassy in England had to do me a passport, and it couldn't be done immediately, so I had to wait like 2 days in England, and my passport got made, and I got given that paperwork. So I have that paperwork that I'll be putting up online just to like remind this guy, you're a fucking idiot, bro. Who do you think you are, James Bond? That I'm gonna fucking strike you in the face and now I have to leave England? Who the fuck are, bro? I punched you in front of your fucking all your co-workers and best friends. It was just me by my fucking self. It's all on video. He's been like 5-6 people. What happened to me? Absolutely nothing. Now all of a sudden I was gonna get fucking kidnapped, killed, and all this shit when they don't even have guns in England. Get the fuck out of my face. Eric, you're upsetting me.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, well, can I go back to the
interview's over?
No, please. Can I just ask you about the previous thing that I was going to ask you about? Do you think they'll need more security fight week when you guys are doing press conference and stuff because it's so heated between you guys? I remember one time Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson, they had to have a wall of security guards between them when they faced off. Do you think it's going to get to that point? Because this one feels a little different. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know, man. Here's how I see it. I've never had a bout agreement signed with somebody, and I did anything that could mess up my money, right? Same thing now. If Leon's in his lane and he doesn't violate my personal space the same way that he did in England, he's going to be fine. I want him to make it to the fight. I want him to get to the fight 100% of his abilities. So there's no excuses, and then we fight. I don't want to fucking hit nobody that I have a signed bout agreement because I'm actually going to get paid for that in just a couple days. So in the way I work, it's like, no, I'm not going to attack somebody that I'm going to get paid for attacking, and maybe jeopardize that. On his end, as we could all tell, he's like missing a chromosome. So maybe he might do something stupid, and I'll put his ass in check real quick.
This is a two-part question. If he wins on December 11th, do you think he will have earned a title shot?
He's not going to win on December 11th, so I don't know.
Okay, so then if you win on December 11th, or should I say when you win on December 11th, see that? That was good. Do you think you get a title shot?
Obviously, I'm going to shoot for the stars. I'm going to go for the title shot. If Usman's like, no, I want him to do another fight, then maybe I could do another top guy in the top three. I could fight and then go for there, But I really don't know. I told the UFC, put me on the path to skyrocket for a title fight. And they were like, this is the fight. I was like, okay, let's go.
Here's a crazy scenario for you, Jorge. I'm sure you've thought of it. Colby Usman fight on November 6th. Colby wins on November 6th, Madison Square Garden. You win on December 11th. I would be shocked if they don't do Colby versus Jorge for the belt at that point. Like, I think you actually do get the title shot. What do you think?
That could happen too. That guy's even more of a coward than Leon, so I would really love to break his face, especially for a title. So there's a lot of things that could happen or not happen. Me, I'm just gonna put my hard head on, put my mouthpiece, just get to work, man. Just get to work, put the hours in, put the fights in, do whatever I got to do. At the end of the day, I'll look up to the sky, and all the work will be done, and I'll be where I need to be at, So I'm not worried about all those other things that I can't control. I'm just worried about breaking Leon's fucking face again.
Can I ask you another question that came up? You were in the news recently. A man by the name of Jake Paul said he wanted to box you and made a deal with Dana, or I tried to make a deal with Dana where he fights you and Amanda Serrano fights Amanda Nunes. Did any of this get discussed? Was there any possibility of this happening when he fought Tyron and beat him that following week when he was coming out there and throwing this out there? Was there any talk of this actually happening between you and Jake Paul?
The UFC utterly does not give a flying fuck about what's his face. You just said. So the problem is that I'm signed to the UFC, so I have to do what they say and they pay me bigger checks. This guy talks a lot about, I'm going to write you a $50 million check. But go look at the pay-per-views that he's selling. He ain't writing nobody a $50 million check. Go actually look at the fucking numbers that they're actually sold on Showtime or on Thriller or whatever thing he's talking about. He doesn't have that money. But again, he's trolling the whole world saying all these big money deals. Like right now, where I'm at in my career, I'm going to fight the world's best fighters in the world, right? We could both agree they're in the fucking UFC. And they're 170 pounds. There's a lot of good guys that I could fucking beat up. And I'm going to get the most money for it, my brother. Now, when I am done beating up world-class fighters, this bum will still be around. I'll go and collect a quick paycheck for hitting him so fucking hard in front of the whole world, Those type of options always be there. But right now, while I'm in my prime, I got to do things that people in their prime do, and that's fight the world's best. He's not in that conversation or ever will be,
He said that you guys go back and forth on DM, like a little trash talk. Is that true?
Yeah, we've trash talked a little bit. He was sending me things that he was posting up because they asked me who's going to win. Because we used to be like kind of semi-cool, like cordial. And then they asked me who's going to win. I'm like, well, he's going to win. He's my boy. And he's going to fucking knock him out. He got all butthurt, right? He fucking sent me a bunch of things on DMs just like jokes and memes and all that types of shit. And I just put something to him like, man, you're salty, Because he knows at the end of the day on a face-to-face he can't say any of that unless he has his 50 bodyguards and I'm by myself. Because at the end of the day, I could always just pick this little kid up and slam him through the concrete so hard that he would be invalid for the rest of his life. Like, he wouldn't be able to walk. So he knows that. It's in the back of his mind. So even when he talks to me on DM, it's very respectful, very chill, like a couple jokes and stuff. But he knows, like, you got to chill, man, because I really don't give a fuck,
Okay, so right now this is not of interest. Just to be clear, not of interest, and it wasn't even discussed with the UFC because I thought there was a chance they might actually try to do it like they did Mayweather McGregor. There's money to be made. This wasn't ever really discussed.
not on actually like on a funny level. Like they were like, man, I wish you could beat Jake Paul up in the street or something. Like you did Leon, that'd be hilarious, blah, blah, blah. But as far as like it actually happening in real life, no, they don't care about that at all.
Okay. Perhaps at some point you'll do boxing because you've said you wanted to box.
I've always wanted to box, and when the opportunity comes, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna make sure I get compensated well because obviously I'm not a boxer going in the boxing. So I'm gonna make sure that I am compensated beyond belief.
How's the promotion going? When's the next event? Gamebred.
December 17th, Biloxi, Mississippi. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I'm having so much fun putting these cards together, sitting down with the matchmakers, sitting down with the whole team, picking venues. It's amazing. And then all the experience that all these fighters that have fought for me already are telling me how well that they were treated, how much exposure that we were able to generate from. It's amazing, man. And it's like one giant snowball effect that's going down the hill, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and I'm getting better and better fighters. I'm getting more and more sponsorships to come in, so that means I'm putting in more money into getting bigger and better fighters. And that's all I'm trying to do is just get the best fighters that money could buy and put them under one roof, bare knuckle, let them run free.
What's the main event? Do you know it yet?
I have a couple ideas. Alex Nicholson versus another ex-UFC heavyweight veteran that we're working on. That's one of the main events that we got working on. I'm not going to say names yet because we haven't got the signatures yet, but once we do, it'll be everywhere. Alan Belcher is also going to be on that card. We're working very closely with him, so we're going to have some names that you're not going to be able to turn your face away and be like, I'm not going to watch it, because it's guys you're going to want to watch when they're burning up. We're like, man, I'm making it very hard for people not to watch these cards.
Before I let you go, Jorge, I can't not note the symbolism of you doing this interview in this beautiful car. I don't know what the car is, but I could tell the seats are beautiful. We don't usually do it. We usually do it at the office at FRM, because when I see you sitting in this car with these beautiful leather seats, what car is it? Do you mind if I ask?
It's stolen.
Okay, perfect. And I remember you telling me you used to sleep in a car with a window that couldn't go up, and the rain is coming in, and you have your dog there. I mean, this is beautiful symbolism right here. I mean, this is the American dream, right?
I could freaking sleep in this thing all day. I could freaking have a wedding in this thing and the honeymoon. You know what I'm saying?
It's a beautiful thing.
Before you let me go,
yeah,
you should ask me about the greatest fight that happened through all combat sports from beginning to end, entertainment galore, just two dogs getting after it. And I'm talking about Tyson Fury versus Wilder.
Let's go.
What a fight, man. Oh my gosh. Wow. From me being a competitor, a combat sports veteran, whatever. Wow. I was like, the bar was raised so high on entertainment level and everything. Both of their walkouts were amazing. Their fights were amazing. It's crazy, man. That's one of the best fights I've seen, period. I mean, wow. Truly was left speechless. Became a huge Wilder fan in this fight because there's like 2 or 3 times where I'm like, oh, he's out. Somehow he brought the dog out, just kept fighting, kept pushing through it. He really, I think, removed all those questions that were from the second fight. I think he really gave it his all. And man, I'm a Wilder fan for life. And Tyson Fury, I mean, wow, we're talking about one of the greatest heavyweights ever. And he happens to be in my era. What a beast, man. This guy, his work ethic, his fortitude up here. Wow. I mean, I saw that fight again because I had to. It was just like too nostalgic at the moment. I'm like, oh, maybe it was just, the environment or me thinking more than it was. I saw it again. Freaking wow. Even from a technical standpoint, how they were boxing the first like 3-4 rounds. Amazing fight, man. Wow.
I know you love the sweet science. It drives me nuts when people say boxing is dead, boxing is boring. But I mean, look at this. I mean, we got Canelo fighting soon against Caleb Plant, which should be great. There's every weekend. Anthony Joshua just lost in a great fight to Usyk. Almost every weekend you have a big boxing match, and that was probably the fight of the year. But that was amazing. Did you see Canelo, by the way, with that face-off? Nailed him in the face. You see that? Look at that.
Bam.
Incredible.
Nice.
Do the guys backstage at AEW, by the way, do they like come up to you? Are they fans of yours? Do they give you props? Do they show you love?
Oh, yeah. Some of them I know as well that I've met in like other shows and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I see.
What's up? I'm back.
What's up?
Yeah, I get along with all of them. All cool, great competitors. And it's crazy after the shows to see these guys like how beat up they are, full of ice packs on the floor, like can't even move. I mean, these guys go through a beat down, a grind and a half to get to that level, man. It's not easy.
I'm jealous. I always wanted to be backstage at an event and see how it all goes down. I'm jealous. I'm living vicariously through you guys.
I'm taking you to the next one. Don't worry.
I think I could be I think I could be just as good, if not better, than Dan Lambert on the microphone. Like, I could be your manager. I could come out there. I want to be Kayla's manager. I want to be her mouthpiece and talk about her being the greatest athlete in the world. Kayla Harrison.
What is it?
Kayla Harrison. Are you beefing with Kayla? You're not beefing with Kayla.
Oh, you're talking about the judo girl. Yeah, I know her.
What? You guys beefing? You and Kayla beefing?
No, man, I love that girl. You crazy? I just got to troll her, man.
Oh, my God.
She thinks she's a team captain. Obviously, she's not.
Oh, my gosh. There's some dissension. You're more Team Nunes, right? We're going to start Jorge Masvidal, Team Nunes, hates Kayla Harrison. Tweet it now, right?
No. I love them both. I've known Amanda obviously longer, and they're both freaking amazing. But just the thing is, though, Kayla thinks she's the team captain.
Yeah, so?
That doesn't sit well with me.
Why? Who is the team captain right now?
I'm not the official team captain, but, you know, there's like many factors. I just tell you this much.
Tell me.
She's not. Let me clarify this here in the Ultimate MMA show. She's not the team captain.
She's trying to, and you're basically saying, I've been here for a decade. Know your role. Take a number. We'll revisit this in a decade, is what you're saying, essentially.
I'm like the person that could assign the team captain. I have that type of power at American Top Team. And once again, I will repeat, she is not the team captain.
Okay, fair enough. Any final...
But she's a freaking amazing at fighting. And for the most part, I'm scared of her. You know, that's why I could act wild now over the phone.
Any final words for Leon Edwards? December 11th, one of the greatest grudge matches, I think, in UFC history. I can't wait. I'm giddy. Poirier Oliveira is great. Nunes great. I have to say, someone asked me last week, which fight rest of the way are you most looking forward to? I said this one. Because there's nothing like a good old-fashioned grudge match, a beef, you know? And I've been talking about this fight for a long time.
Especially, you know, somebody like me that's gonna come to fight, whether I have a grudge or not with this person. I'm gonna try to do everything in my being to end this person. Leon's going to do everything in himself to do what he's always done, put his track shoes on and turn it into a track meet and run for dear life. So I don't care how much of a grudge match it is or what he said that he's going to stand in the middle. The guy's a coward. He's going to throw punches and run and get on his bike and run. I'll cut the ring off eventually, and I'll land the blows that I need to land on him to slow him down, and I'm going to take him out. But don't expect a lot of him as far as like actual fight. He's going to hit and run, I'm telling you.
And by the way, why not 5 rounds? He said last week he wanted 5 rounds.
Doesn't matter what he wants, Ariel. Haven't you noticed? It's my world. He's just living in it. Like, you have to start the, like, oh, yeah, Masvidal's not lying. Like, it's literally my world. He's just living in it. He didn't want to fight. I said, no, we're going to fight right now. What is he doing? What's he doing December 11th?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What were his first statements? No, I'm fighting for the title. I'm this, that. No, you're not. You're doing whatever the fuck I say. If he had a girlfriend that was somewhat cute, I'd snatch her up too, but he doesn't, so keep her.
But you didn't want 5 rounds?
I wanted whatever I wanted for the most amount of money. And when the numbers were getting talked and this and that, and plus, how could we be 5 rounds? There's too many events already on it.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever seen the third fight be
yes.
5 rounds?
Yeah, Nate and Leon was 5 rounds. It was the third fight.
Yeah.
Now I'm hitting you with the facts here, you see? Now you go toe to toe with the nose. You know, I come with the facts. I don't have much else going for me, but I know the facts.
I like numbers.
That's right.
Facts and numbers is where it's at.
Okay, last one. I promise last one. Nick Diaz. What did you think? Can I ask you, what did you think when you watched that?
Not the Nick Diaz that I'm accustomed to, obviously. You know, I mean, I was fighting alongside Nick when he was in Strikeforce and I was in Strikeforce, so I know a very different Nick Diaz. I don't want to see the guy get hurt, man. I would love to see him in peak shape, go in and fuck some people up, but I don't know how much of a reality that is now after seeing his last performance. You know, I want to see him not get hurt, and if he does get back in there, I want to see him as close as we can to his old self. I don't think his last performance we got to see that.
Is that something like a reminder for you? You don't want to get to that point where people are talking about you that way?
I don't know what Nick Diaz is going through. I don't know IRS. I don't know what it is why he was fighting, so I don't want to comment on too much on his. But as far as I go, like I think I've said it before in your gym. When I go to the gym myself, and the younger generations, I can no longer hang with them and compete with them and do well, and not just do well like one day out of the week, but like do well every time I step on the mat, how I do right now. Then I know it's time for me to hang it up. Nobody's gonna come telling me. Thank goodness on a financial level, I never have to fight again. If I continue to fight now or not, I'm good financially. So I don't see myself in those predicaments where I'm gonna come back to fight for money. I'll come back to fight because I love it. It's my DNA. I love doing this more than anything other I've ever done in this world. But as far as like for financial situations and stuff, I won't be back in here. I work too hard for this. I put too much money aside a long time ago, so I don't have to worry about that. You know, the day that I walk away from it, it's because I feel that I no longer can compete at that level. I'm not going to be nobody's footstool. I'm not going to hold nobody's chalk strap either, you know, like no way, you know.
Well, the next one on the journey is December 11th. I can't wait. Jorge, thank you for the time as always. And thank you to whoever was holding the phone for 30 minutes. I'm sure their hand is very tired.
We'll show you now who it is.
Who is it? Who is it? Now. There he is. Abe, my man. Is your arm tired?
No, what I do is I hold it up with both arms.
Oh my
so one
God.
hand holds up the other hand.
Okay.
Works.
Round of applause, huh?
Well, great job, Abe. Great. I mean, a couple of times your hat was peeking through, and I wanted to kind of like move it. You know, there we go. Yeah, it was kind of, you know, trying to get a little bit of love. Yeah. But thank you. You know, I always appreciate you guys coming on. Some managers stop their fighters from coming on, not you guys. So I appreciate that. I don't know if you got that one, Jorge.
There's a lot of managers that are stopping their fighters from coming on.
No, not true. Just one.
Just one. I think I know who that one is.
Yeah.
Rather short. Looks like he's also missing a chromosome, maybe.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't get me in trouble, okay? I'm trying to live a peaceful existence.
I'm just asking questions just like you, buddy. Just asking questions just like you.
Guys, thank you so much. Good luck to you. It's always a pleasure. And next time you go in there, AEW, you need some backup, like some real muscles, some real brains. I'll get on the first jet. I got my own PJ. I don't flaunt it like Dan does. I have my own PJ. I'll jump on that thing, and I'll come back you guys up. All right?
Ariel, it's said and done.
On site.
That's it. Next show, you're free. You want to go backstage? I got the pass.
Well, they won't let me backstage because they know I'll whoop all their asses. It's on site when Hilwani is back there. You understand?
I understand that.
Okay.
I get it.
All right.
These pro wrestlers know. Don't forget December 17th. Oh, and also Icon December 9th. And then my fight December 11th. And then December 17th, bam, more action.
What's that?
Bare knuckle action. My fight.
Oh, yours. But what's December 9th?
Icon on Fight Pass. I'm also like very much with this promotion. You know, I love MMA, man. So
look at
going
you.
around buying companies and stuff, man. Yeah.
You own Icon now? Breaking news?
I don't own it, but I'm big partners in it. And Snap, man, I just love the fight game, man. I want to be part of it always to some extent, you know?
Wow, look at you, George.
Whether I'm competing in it or putting on the competitors that are going to take over the world.
Georgie out here making it rain.
I have a printing machine at home, so.
Well done. All right, my man. I'll let you be. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk to you soon. I appreciate it. Good luck in training.
Yes, sir. God bless you always, brother. I'll see you soon.
All right, there he is. Jorge Masvidal. There it is. I got it right. Yeah. Man, now he's with Icon. Fun stuff. Fun time to be alive. What a show, right, guys? Monday afternoons. We're back. Live and direct. My shoes are off. I got water here. Our pets' heads are falling off. Who gets the reference? Frankie for sure gets the reference. What movie?
The Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, that's right. One of the all-time greats. Dumb and Dumberer, or whatever that sequel was, disaster. This one, the first one, the original, one of the all-time best. It's sort of like this. When we came back, they said, oh, the sequel is not going to be good. One of the rare times in life, in history, that the sequel, and I'm talking about the MMA Hour sequel, better than the original. Back to the Future 2, some say, better than the original. Other than that, I can't, like, what's better than the original? Jaws? Godfather. I don't think any of them were better. MMA Hour 2, V2, 2.0, whatever you want to say, better than the original. And whoever wants to ride with us here on this program, you are welcome. Dillon Danis, you are welcome. JDS, you are welcome. Jorge, you are welcome. Anyone, you're welcome. There's room for everyone. We're like a potluck. Everyone comes here and everyone eats. And if you don't want to eat here, you don't have to. But this train is rolling along and we are doing big things. Thank you to DraftKings. Thank you to the guys in the back over there and gal. Thank you to everyone on board. And we're back on Wednesday to do this all over again. But for now, we are out of time, so you can hit my music. Great stuff there from Jorge. That was some hot stuff. What is that? That was not the song. No.
I was just watching your
That was
nose
not
and
the
I got
song.
confused.
That was not the song. See, karma. That was not the song. This guy gives me crap and he plays it again. Not the song.
How did that even happen?
I don't know. Your mic is still on, by the way. I don't know if you know this. Okay, all right. That wasn't the song. I mean, it's tough. There's only 2 songs. Actually, there's 3 now, right? Hopefully 4 when we get the music for the ad reads. You know, a nice little, like, jingle, a nice little, you know, band, you know, like a little saxophone, jazz club, maybe a little, you know, piano, whatever you want. Whatever you want. For now, though, we are out of time, my friends. A couple big names already booked for Wednesday, but I'll leave you hanging with those. Get the picks on Wednesday from GC. Look ahead to the weekend. We got a lot going on. It's a fun time. The action is about to heat up here. It's about to ramp up with, you know, the back-to-back numbered events. Not a pay-per-view in less than 2 weeks in Abu Dhabi, but it feels like a pay-per-view. I mean, that is a pay-per-view card with Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira, of course, Sanhagen Jan and Islam Makhachev returning against Dan Hooker and Khamzat Chimaev, blah, blah, blah. On and on it goes. We don't have time to talk about all that right now. For now, we shall say goodbye. Thank you very much to everyone who stopped by. Thank you very much to Gokhan Saki. Thank you very much to Jim Miller. Thank you very much to Dillon Danis, Junior Dos Santos, Dan Lambert, and of course, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Back on Wednesday, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.